Check 1, 2. Oh, hell yeah, look at that. Right on time. Well, we are ready for the festivities. Let's do it.
Are you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Boom. I was waiting for the intro to finish and it like went into a black screen. Very strange. Okay, let's see if this is working out today. Hi. Hi. I promise I am not CGI. I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. So I feel strange, but I feel young. I feel very young today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Are we live? Yes, I think I see the stream going on over here. Thank you everybody for being here. Look at that. We are. This is the festivities. And this is your boom. I am happy to be here with you guys on the YouTube universe. I appreciate it, guys. You guys' support, always overwhelming, always deep into my heart. Thank you very much, everybody, for checking in. Please, thumbs up under this stream right now if you are here live. And please consider to support the channel via PayPal if you got it. The link is pinned above on the chat box, and there's also links on the description box where you can support the channel. Super chat, man! I'm fighting with the fucking super chat. I still haven't seen a dime of it. It's always the hardest the first time that we get the money activated and all that kind of shit. Big shout out! I see you guys over here on the YouTube land. I see my mom bakes cakes. Patio furniture. Marcus Dresden. Real Cygnus. Charlie Welsh. Chai. And everybody's here, right? Only member of the channel right now is Marcus Dresden is in the house. Let me oh, I didn't have to do anything there. Okay, let me clean myself up a little bit over here. All right. Okay, we good. Please, I appreciate if everybody actually do hit the like under this video. That'll be awesome. That'll be a big help, big support. And super chat or PayPal. That's it. we are gonna go ahead and move on to the Discord server, the Daily Boom. Discord server Daily Boom is the place where these festivities will take place. So let's see if this is gonna work out whenever I move to the boom. Okay. We're gonna have to hang up here for a second, move rooms, and get this party on the road. Let's see if we can do this. Let's go to the Daily Boom. Yeah, I just shared that. And I'm gonna go AFK for a second. Here we go. All right. Check 1, 2. You should be able to hear me. I should have audio and visual. You guys see me over here? Uh-oh. I got a very important phone call. I gotta answer this. If anybody wanna join, please talk. Fuck, that was quick. They hung up quick. Damn it. I'll try. Okay, I'm here. I'm sorry. That was an important phone call. I'm fighting fighting for me to not be homeless. I got kind of, oh, I'm almost evicted. I almost out of this place because of the loss of the Google. I'm telling you guys, I'm struggling big time. I was behind in the rent. They didn't accept a partial payment. I was like 2 months behind. I got eviction letters. I'm talking to a lawyer there. Even though I'm broke, try to make a payment plan. It's all fucked up. All fucked up. So that was a phone call. I kind of made a payment plan to see if I can make it. And I don't know. They'll call me back whenever we're there. That being said, the show must go on because that's how I do it. I'm not gonna stay stuck and like start freaking out too much. God, you know, you lose all hope. All hope is lost, and I don't appreciate it. Oh, the camera broke. Damn it. Well, big thank you to everybody for your patience, for hanging in there with me. Did I lose the fucking camera? What the hell? The boo. That's no good. Oh well, no camera for me. What's going on, Shay? You there? Boom, 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 everybody. We also have Jim's Mind, Justin Frank. Yeah, I was on the phone. I hope you guys can hear me. Anamorphic Boom, Anamorphic Mind. I mean, Earth is Life. Paul. All right, we got audio back. Yes, maybe. Yeah, we good. All right, excellent. We are over here on the festivities, ready to do this. Oh, Grubus is here. Grubus is gonna be the main entertainer today. Go ahead, man.
What do you mean? What?
You're gonna be the main entertainer today. You're gonna bring the topics. You're gonna be a contrarian today. You're gonna be flip flop today.
Yeah, I'm kind of as stupid as you are like when it comes to the whole science of the Earth.
Do you call me stupid? I'm illiterate. It's different from stupid.
Okay, illiterate. I'm as I am as illiterate as you are.
That's messed up. That's good. That's funny.
I'm just gonna hang around in the background like I normally do and just like chill.
I mean, good, good.
Plus, it's St. Patrick's Day, so
Yeah, it's St.
I'm having a
Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I didn't forget that. I just didn't prepare for it. Yeah, I was for the longest. I tried pushing and pushing this, waiting for the phone call, and whatever. It is what it is. Dude, what the hell? What the fuck is wrong with this camera, man? I'm gonna hang up the Discord. I'll be back in a second. Let me see if the camera works when I get back. Thank you very much for the happy belated birthday. I appreciate it. I feel old but young at the same time. So we are there. Tiny Captain, RT96, Lucky Fish Mars. Everybody on YouTube land. Truth Nerds! What up? And the Ship Professor and Today Mensei. So, Doofus?
Nothing, just relaxing at the moment.
Good, good. I
Seems to
went.
be all quiet on pretty much all fronts right now.
Yeah, it's all kind of relaxed. A little bit of a blank slate on my mind right now. So it's all right. Something will come up. We'll pull it out. I went yesterday for a few minutes to a Bev's for the first time in a long time. And I wanted to learn. They keep saying the channel is educational, but I didn't learn shit. They try kind of talking about, they wanted to start talking about other people's arguments and asking me if I agree or disagree with their arguments. I said, no, dude, I mean, I'm interested in what you're talking about. I want to learn about that. And they just didn't. They didn't attempt. They actually attempted. He said, all right, this means this and that. And they start scattergoning. Bev starts scattergoning words. Like a long string of words like Lemonbird does or Gary does trying to explain certain phenomena or something. And I said, dude, you gotta take it easy. You gotta explain it to me like I'm five. I mean, if you understand this topic and you want people to learn, you should be able to explain it to the average Joe. You should be able to explain it, and I should be able to understand at least the basics. But when I left, I didn't understand shit what he was saying. He attempted to explain it to me very convoluted first, and then he switched topics and started talking about other stuff and other people's arguments. Very, very strange interaction that I had there, man.
Yeah, they won't actually drill down into the absolute basics, get to the root logic of it that maintains consistency before moving on to another topic. They just keep it at that surface level of absurdity and obscureness until they move on to another topic and never actually finish talking about something.
Yeah, and then he uses a tactic like, hey, it's proof. It's geometry, eh? It's math because math is proof. And it's reality is geometry, eh? Proof, yeah? Yeah? Huh? Yeah? Yeah, proof, eh? Yeah? I mean, some weird, like, thing like that. Like, he goes on and on and on, like unstopping. I was like, these people, a little bit of a mental issues they got going on there.
Well, Bev requires validation. He can't really go on without it.
Mm.
That's why he's pressing for it.
Mm.
Jose, or just a question, like, are you still able to get onto Nathan Oakley's Discord?
I think on this other laptop, I log in into an whatever weird account that I had, and I am, but I'm not allowed. I'm blocked in this account, that my main account. In the flip flop account is my second account. I'm blocked. This is the third account. I don't even know why it's there, when I created it, but I am a member of that Discord server in a separate.
Oh wow. I was just curious because I got blocked on their account on their Discord
You
a
got
few
blocked.
months back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I keep blocking people, and they block me in the chat box too.
But they actually loved the fact that I was there. Like they all changed their name to some kind of version of Grubus.
Huh.
And
And then they just kick you out of nowhere. The hell?
no, I had a conversation with one of their members that was
Right.
like an evangelist Christian, and
Oh,
that was when I got blocked.
yeah. You cannot. Yeah, you cannot question anybody's belief of those, because they will, quickly turn on you. Anybody should be able to just grow a pair of balls and accept criticism, accept negative feedback. It is what it is. And some people receive positive feedback, some people receive negative feedback. Some people agree, some people disagree. Everybody got to fucking grow up and learn how to deal with that situation, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was about for 10 seconds in the 24/7 Discord and they kicked me out.
Almost a record. Mm-mm. That was a good solid 4 seconds, man. You did it.
What's
get the impression-
the topic? What's the topic for today, Jose?
Oh, we got nothing. I got nothing today. Blank slate. It is you. You are gonna tell us about if you want a specific topic or something. Let's do it, man. Try it. Give it a try. Something that you are either know a lot about or something that you know little about. Let's try it.
Well, could we? I know this is something that flat earthers seem to avoid religiously, but what about earthquakes, tectonic plates, and that stuff?
It's good. I don't know a lot about it. I know I have heard people bringing earthquakes. And in that topic of earthquakes, there's these P waves and S waves that people keep bringing it, and this is kind of a evidence, and there's data for the the composition of the Earth deep down and way down. I don't know a lot about it. I don't know how to reach to that conclusion. That's why I just kind of would like to learn a little more. But maybe Doofus, what do you know about earthquakes? And is there has anything to do with shape of the Earth and science and all that stuff?
Well, I mean, you gave the rough overall summary, the seismography stuff. I haven't really looked into all that. I know that PhD Tony has at least a good understanding, can discuss it a lot better than I can. Of course, he's not around at the moment, but yeah, I haven't really done a whole lot on that topic.
But is it are they predictable, the earthquakes, like the big earthquakes, or they can just be measured when as they happen and after they happen?
Predictable, not so much. I mean, you can get kind of a sense of what pressure is building in certain regions given certain readings. You can't really tell exactly when something's going to happen down to the minute or anything like that. But as far as measurements go, yeah, that's definitely solid evidence. As as I saw this scroll by on the chat, Real Cygnus said it's rock solid evidence of sphere, literally.
I made this argument one time and I got jumped on and I pissed somebody off really bad. I say, like, is this seismographs test that that are done when earthquakes, right? Is it an analogous to a sonogram machine for the mamas, right? The pregnant woman is pregnant, and you use a sonogram, a small machine, and you can see inside the belly, right? So I say, is that analogous for a seismogram machine, whatever size big it is? But is that kind of a similarity?
I think, well, when you're doing those kind of when you're doing the prenatal stuff, that's all active. Like it's emitting sound in order to get signals back, whereas we're just passively reading most of it. There are instances where they do actively send signals down there, but not as far as what we can passively register.
Okay, because yes, Laurie, we are live. We are live on the interwebs. Because actually, I was told that I said, like, but what is it? What is this machine? You know, can you? I use the argument always, explain it to me like I'm 5. They say, well, it's like a sonogram. You know, like you don't see the baby inside the mom's belly, but if you use this machine kind of to measure this waves and sounds and some vibrations, and you can see inside. So that's why I use that analogy, because I was told like that the first time, that these seismographic tests and stuff is like the sonogram. And that's the problem. I say sometimes you got to be careful with the examples you use, because somebody might hold to them. In the beginning, I said like, well, it is not exactly, but similar to. But some people tell me, no, it's exactly like this, like just in a bigger scale. It's like you're just reading and looking at something that is deep inside somewhere that you cannot go, but you have a really good high percentage of a good idea what's going on down there because of you got this tool. Shout out to Earth is Live.
Hey, what's going on?
Good. Seismograph measuring inside the Earth, is that like a sonogram for measuring inside Mama's belly?
I think it's probably on a larger scale, but I guess it's basically the same thing.
Will the physics change from this small scale?
You said a seismograph?
For earthquakes, this whatever this machine is to measure these waves for earthquakes.
I'm not sure. I think it might be something similar, but I could be wrong.
Now, let's say that is very similar. Let's say it's similar, not exactly, but similar. Will the physics work? The how one? I guess because it's not the same. Oh shit! It's a fucking jet or something loud. Holy shit!
Is it over you?
What's your vector, Victor?
Damn, I don't even know what it is.
Sure,
Far, but I still
surely,
hear it.
surely you can't be serious. Yes, I'm
So
serious.
I guess it is not, because it's not the same. We cannot say that the physics are the same and the behavior is the same. I guess we can.
I think it's the same principle, but I don't think it's. I don't know. I think the seismograph, it measures like the vibrations. I don't know if it measures like, it's not like a visual thing.
Well, yeah, neither is a sonogram. That's not really a visual thing either. But it's yeah.
Go ahead.
They both operate on mechanical waves, but it's a little bit more precise and much shorter waves on a sonogram.
Okay. So it's kind of similar, but on a larger scale, right? Something like that.
It's a multi-axis piece of equipment. It's sensitive to a lot more than a typical seismograph is, unless you're trying to do something that's more advanced. You're trying to emit mechanical waves into the Earth in order to image what comes back. But that's, like I was saying earlier, not as deep as the stuff that you can read back from seismographs passively.
Shout out to Blue.
Want to see something cool?
Uh-oh. He's gonna do it.
So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So in 2024, April 8th, 2024, there will be a solar eclipse that'll go across the United States, and this will be the path. Are you sharing me to YouTube?
Yes, and I see you over here. Everybody see you on YouTube.
Right. So this will be the path. 2024, April 8th. So anybody that's in that part of the United States, they'll be able to see a full total lunar eclipse. I'm sorry,
Total-
solar eclipse.
A total solar eclipse on America again. What?
Yeah, yeah. So if this model is incorrect, then they won't see it. But if it is correct, then they'll see it. Now, let me see if I can stop right here. So if you live in somewhere in Texas, you'll definitely be able to see it.
No, I think Jose would be able to see it.
I mean, I'm in Central Florida. I should be able to
Yeah,
see
you'll
a
be able to see
partial
it
one.
partial. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
partial. That's good.
So let me see if I can go down into, right? And where's the sun? There it is.
Oh, hell fucking yeah, man. You know that this game program, whatever it is fantastic, bro.
Yeah. See if I can. Yep. There we go. Well, let me try that again. Give me a second. Let me go down because I want to try and lock on the. There we go. There it is again. All right. Zoom in. Yeah.
Yeah, there it goes.
What is this application? Sorry.
This is Space Engine.
Okay.
What's the date?
This is April 8th, 2024. Trying to lock it. So okay, there we go.
Shout out to Jimmy C4. What's up? Boom.
So if you're somewhere in Texas, it'll look something like this.
That'll be cool. What is the name of this dark circle in Raku K2? What is the name?
Rahu.
Lilith.
Rahu and Ketu. So some sort of dark body. So I know what's his name? Brian's Logic was put out a video saying he doesn't know like the moon. He wants to be able to track the moon and see if it's the actual moon covering the sun during a solar eclipse. Like the moon isn't actually there. And you see how we can't see it right now? It's like barely visible.
Brian's logic is just like one of the dumbest people on Earth. Like
He's one of them. Yeah.
You're gonna be disappointed because
Maybe
Go ahead, Blue. Go ahead, Blue. What's up, Hayden?
and Brian may be the dumbest one. He's certainly in the top 10 without a doubt. Probably the top 3.
Balance Truth is trying. He's trying to make a run for it.
And
Far
Brian
coming.
thinks that no one can debunk him at all in anything. He's truly top left.
Yeah. So now let me see what it will look like from where Jose's at. Oh, wait a second. Tampa Bay. So you're somewhere in North Tampa, right? It's fine. I'll just go down here.
Yep, somewhere around there. Shout out to Anamorphic Mind with a big $2 super chat. Happy St. Patrick's Day. You lucky dog, you. Yeah, I put a picture of my doggy earlier, my oldest dog. Thank you, Anamorphic Mind. This is roughly in my neighborhood over here. This is what I will see. All right. Hell yeah, look at that.
Oh, where the heck did it go? Too fast.
You know what? Similar to what I saw on a few years ago. What was it? 2017, 2018? The previous American eclipse.
2017.
2017, yeah, I saw something like this with my little glasses, little cheap glasses.
Yep, it'll be a partial just like this.
Yeah. That's cool, man. It's a cool sight.
Funny thing, the Stellarium showed just the same.
Shout out to Chris Berry. Chris Berry, did you see the eclipse of 2017? And if so, come over here and tell us, like, yeah, there was a beautiful sight that you saw. Tell us what you saw and tell us how that is a good solid evidence for this spherical globular Earth.
It's not, remember? It's actually evidence for flat Earth. What was the date of that one? That was 2017, right?
August 21st, day before my birthday.
Nice. Okay, let's see if we can pull that up.
I have missed the last two eclipses because of weather.
21st, August 21st.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've missed a couple of eclipses where I am, like in Northern Ireland. It's always cloudy.
Yep.
Always cloudy.
You're still here in Tampa, right? On the Tampa Bay area. Earth is live in over here in Engine, right? Space Engine.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Check it out because I promise I saw very similar to that, very close, like 2/3, like almost 2/3 covered.
It's funny though,
Yeah,
you know, that if you didn't know it was happening, you really don't detect much change in the amount of light.
Yep, not at all. Yep. I had to keep track on the news and the YouTube and whatever sites to tell us, like, yeah, now it's gonna be starting being seen visible from this area and this part, and I was able to catch it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it covered like 2/3, almost 3/4. You know, it was very close to full. Yep, that's what I saw, man. Beautiful stuff.
I remember my dad showed me how to build an eclipse viewing box out of a cardboard box and some tin foil and a needle to make the hole in the box. And he cut a hole. I don't know what box it was, but it was long and it was big enough for me to get my head inside. And he cut a little hole out so I could put my head in the box and face the opposite side of the box of the hole, of the pinhole. So I had my own little like dark theater that I could see it really well. Very cool.
This would be looking at it outside of our atmosphere.
Good time. Very similar. Maybe the amount of light, you know, is just.
What would an eclipse look like? Wait, I guess you wouldn't be able to see it, right? A lunar eclipse while standing, like an eclipse of the Earth on the moon. Like like a lunar eclipse while standing on the moon, but it would be like an Earth eclipse of the sun. Let me see. When was the last lunar? So someone pull up the last lunar eclipse was like May 24th of last year.
Dude, yesterday I had a beautiful moon in the sky. I don't know if it was a full moon. It looked really big, but it was so dark and cloudy that I pulled my P900 out, tried to take a few pictures, but just the cloudy, too cloudy. I couldn't get shit.
Yeah, I had the same here, Jose. It was like it's not quite a full moon, like, but it's close to it.
Right. I want to give a shout out to the YouTube land. 37 people watching, 21 likes. We can do a little better. So please hit those thumbs up if you haven't done so, and support if you can.
So May 15th of 2022, I guess there's supposed to be a lunar eclipse. Let's see. And we'll go to.
There's an argument when you say like, look, but dude, we can predict all of this. Look at that. We can go really far. They're going to say like, yeah, but you got this, whatever name of this tool is that is being predicted in a flat plane. Everything is in a flat plane, but the ironic part is like, look, it's a globe. Like it's being predicted, but in a globe. It's no way that it works on a flat plane. Even though they say like, yeah, these people that made this tool that predicted all the eclipse back in the day, they believe the earth is flat, but there's no diagrams on how they believe the earth is flat with this tool. It only works on a globe today with the prediction. If you want to believe that that's the tool they use to predict the eclipse, hey, bravo, so be it. It's still a globe. It won't change the fact that Earth cannot be flat because there's no layout of the Earth to be flat for us to see these phenomena in the sky, you know?
The thing I always respond with in that case when they bring up, well, Saros cycle, this is how they predicted it before, so on and so forth. It's all in cycles and stuff like that. What I asked them to do is to use those tools that they say the ancients used to predict down to the minute and down to the square mile where a total eclipse will occur. If they cannot do that, then obviously the tools that they're using are not sufficient, and the globe is the better tool.
Or this technology was lost.
I'm just trying to find where the path of totality is for the lunar eclipse on the 15th of May of this year. I want to see what it's going to look like while standing on the moon.
Okay, so you
Because you can
should
do
see
that.
the sun.
Yeah, the sun eclipsing
Yeah.
the Earth eclipsing the sun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a sun eclipse via the Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody, let me see if
I
I
like
can
that.
find out where the path of totality is.
This you heard it here first. We're trying to here to predict when the next sun eclipse will be. So it's not a solar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse, but the Earth
It's
will
like
be responsible.
yeah,
Lunar eclipse.
lunar eclipse.
No, we
But
want to see the
standing-
solar eclipse as the Earth eclipses the sun.
Yeah. But I need to know where the path of totality is. If anybody can find that and let me know. I'm trying to find it myself right now.
How is the sun size in comparison to the Earth as seen from the moon? If that was a possibility, is it a similar angular size like as the moon and the sun
I think
that
it's
are very
bigger.
similar angular size?
It's bigger. Let me see. Let's do this. Let's land on the moon. Here we go.
Wait, I seen this before. Oh, I saw that a few months ago. The Chinese lander. Yeah, sorry.
So there goes the Earth. Let me turn the brightness down real quick.
How dare you turn the brightness of the sun
There we
down?
go.
Playing God now. Yeah.
let's see. Which way is the... Oh, there it is. There it is. Here we go.
The shadow of the Earth is several times the diameter of the Moon, so the totality would be everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Yep.
Chris Berry just posted his proof, I guess. A video by Nathan Oakley.
Of course.
Yeah.
So this
Incidentally,
is...
I was just going to say, if you're on the Moon, what you would see is well, the Earth would be in shadow, obviously, but the atmosphere would be like a red ring. You know, when the Moon turns red during a lunar eclipse, because you're basically seeing sunrise. Half sun of the Earth is sunrise, half of it's sunset. So it would be a continuous red ring.
But now the big question is the Earth in the inside the dome of the Moon or outside the dome of the Moon?
Oh my God.
No, I'm just joking.
Wait,
So,
Earth is live. You know what I just realized?
what's
I don't
up?
see. I mean, we can not even see the Earth. Look, the Earth just disappeared. It doesn't exist.
Right?
What? So the Earth go invisible for 3 days, as seen from the Moon?
Something like that, I guess.
Oh shit! There you go. Now we understand what happened with the Moon when it disappeared for 2 days. It also happens to all of us. We disappear for like 3 days, and we just come back to. We are
It's called a
created
new
again.
Earth.
Yeah, new Earth every month or so, whatever, every few months happen.
So I'm guessing this is what it would look like while standing on the Moon, viewing an eclipse of the sun by the Earth. That's cool.
I used to scratch my head like, where the fuck is the Moon? I don't see it in the face, and this new Moon, like after this little very thin sliver of the Moon, we go to these 2 or 3 days that we just don't see the Moon. But it's there. It's just so close to the sun, and it's just not the face that we are seeing. We are seeing from the Earth to the Moon. It just doesn't. We're not receiving any light from the sun, so we're not seeing shit. You know. They don't get that. They don't get that. I mean, it's easier to visualize in the big scale and in 3D, but they need to account for those two. That is a big scale, far away, and a 3-dimensional objects. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing when you're driving and you got somebody coming towards you with their high beams on. You know, if it's the light is bright enough, you're not going to see anything except for that light.
Yep, indeed.
But yeah, let's go back to the Earth. So, all right, I'm gonna stop sharing.
All right. Anamorphic Mind for a $2 super chat. Did people just prove we live in a simulation? Yo, Anamorphic Mind. That's what I'm like, kind of just banging my head over here, thinking about it. I think he did. Anamorphic Mind. Did
It could be. We would never be able to prove it, though. Yeah. So I encourage anybody who has a PC to download this because I mean it shows a lot, you know. I mean you can go to the moons of Jupiter. You can go, I don't know. You can just explore. It's fun.
Chris Berry say Google astronomical clock. They predict all of these and they are flat.
Yeah,
Hold on. I gotta read it, and I gotta do the LOL at the end. This is how I think. Chris Berry, LOL. So Chris Berry say, Google astronomical clock. They predict all of this, and they are flat. Now I'm done. That's
Yeah, it
how
seems
he
he wasn't paying
LOL.
attention earlier when I mentioned that using that tool, he cannot predict for a solar eclipse the path of totality. There's absolutely no way for him to do that with any of those tools. And they're flat. But the globe can do it.
exactly.
Answering for Chris, I'll just say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just using the globe model, it's just like he said, you can predict the time, the day, the location, down to the second almost.
You know, one interesting thing about the Saros cycle, the eclipse cycle, is because the way it advances, like it's 18 years and however many months and days and several hours. So every 18 years, exactly the same eclipse occurs, but on a slightly different part of the Earth, because the Earth has rotated for a few years. Do you understand? But the way that it advances actually depends on the rotation of the Earth, which is a bit of a problem for flat Earth.
Yeah, I just checked when the next eclipse is in the place where I live, but it's in 2135, so I won't see it.
You said, let me see. You said 2135. What's the exact date?
Yeah, I didn't check that because it was already too far away, but I live in the Netherlands, and well, we actually never get a full eclipse.
Let's see. Well, let's see if we can pull it up. Wait, you said 2035 or 2135?
2135.
Oh shit. Yeah, I think we'll all be gone by then. Yeah, it's October 7th.
Yeah,
2135.
that was it. The day before my birthday.
Oh, let's see if we can pull it up. I'm on screen share real quick, Jose.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yep.
And October 7th. All right, and it's actually gonna go. Okay, yeah, let's. Wait till this rotates around here. Let's speed it up a little bit.
It seems balanced truths seems to think that the horizon still rises to eye level. Jesus.
I'm just rotating around that way I can see where the shadow falls. I might have went one day too far. Yeah, it's gonna be right around here. It's Saudi Arabia. We should see it come. 20. Oh, I'm sorry. I was on the wrong year. My bad. No wonder. Wrong year. 2135.
Now, when you say 2135, Mandeville is asking, will all be all gone by then? When you say that, is
Yeah.
it just us or literally like everyone will be gone?
No, I mean us as in whoever us in this chat right now.
But why
Everyone
you
has
say that? I always say that I'm gonna be 235 before I start
hey,
getting
hey,
old.
if that's the case, and good luck.
Good luck with
Let's
that,
see.
Jose.
All right, now let's see. Yeah, I was on the wrong year. Let's see if the model is accurate. There it is. There goes the shadow. Bam. Everybody see it?
Yeah, it's almost above the Netherlands.
Right there. And the one I seen in when I'm looking in Google, it has the exact same path. Yep. I mean, how is it that this model can show us exactly what we see in reality if the Earth is not a sphere?
Because Earth is flat, says Creeperry. Didn't you hear him?
You reverse engineer it.
Because flat Earth is life.
Because
That's why he's
because flat Earth, right?
yeah. Chris shared the link over there. Eclipse GSFC in NASA.gov.
But we don't.
This
I mean,
is ours.
Chris, this is just three spheres, a light source and two spheres: the sun, the moon, and the Earth, and it shows us exactly what we see in reality on the exact day, in the exact location, in the exact time. How is it that this? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Actually or imaginary? Actually or imaginary?
No, actually, because you can give me any date or any eclipse that happened before or that's gonna happen, and we can see exactly where it's gonna happen, what time, what day, just using the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun as spheres. And this is what we're talking about, Chris, when we say it has predictive capabilities.
Don't you agree?
Chris Berry.
Hold on. Don't you agree with Truth Nerds? Earth is live. That Chris Berry pretending to understand astrophysics is actually kind of cute.
Yeah, it is.
Chris just posted a link from NASA about the Saros period, about the period of time between eclipses. I guess that's supposed to be some proof that they use a Saros cycle to predict eclipses. No, that's just a time period, Chris. That's not a mechanism to which in order to predict where an eclipse will be seen.
And
Sorry,
do
pal.
they use a flat Earth model, like a 3D flat Earth model?
I don't think
Could we
NASA does.
Could we somehow build a 3D flat Earth model that would predict where an eclipse would happen?
Yeah. Yep.
Would it match reality though?
Yes, absolutely.
No, Sean,
Flat Earth
a
model in
flat Earth
3D.
model.
Oh no. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't confuse Soros and Saros. It's getting weird.
When we see the moon during the daylight and we kind of see a blue sky kind of in the darker parts, that's light scattering, right?
I'm sorry.
When we see the moon during the daylight And if it's a face on the moon, we see that part as the blue of the sky blue.
Oh, are you trying to respond to a balanced truths
Yeah,
thing?
that's light
Yeah.
scattering, right? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, basically, because what you got in between you and the moon is blue, so of course the moon looks blue. Like, duh.
Right. Another thing here, I wanted to show something. The path of the sun. Wait. The path of the sun in Australia. I know a lot of people here, a lot of people in this community live in Australia, but I wanted to see something really quick.
Earth is like, while you do that, I'm gonna read Chris Berry
Okay,
comment, and Chris Berry is actually here, but Chris Berry say, I don't know why you say that. He's asking me, Jose, why? I don't know why you say that. Yeah, what you say, I say that. It's confusing him. I didn't say anything. Chris Berry, do you like the way I laugh out loud?
Hey,
Well,
Jose.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
You know, the Saros cycle
Hilarious.
really doesn't help the flat earthers at all, right?
Mm.
The specific thing about the Saros cycle that kills the flat earth is that you have a series of 3 cycles that are offset by 8 hours. So they're exactly 1/3 of the way around the globe between each cycle. It confirms confirms the spherical rotating earth.
Brilliant, Bob.
But there's no necessary
Hold
linkage.
on, Lemon. 1 second. Let's get Chris Berry a minute or two. See if we're gonna. What's up, Chris? What you got, man?
Nothing. Just I don't know.
Interesting. You find it interesting, right? What we're talking about today. That's fair.
Not really. I mean, this honestly is really boring to me.
Right, learning about the globe model is definitely
Once
boring.
again,
Yep.
you guys go to the sky to try and prove the shape. You say it has predictive capabilities, and I maybe would agree and say in some instances maybe it can, but in others it doesn't, and it fails on its face. Like predicting the amount of curvature. Like we're always seeing pictures and videos that debunk that claim, and then you guys come up with excuses like looming, which has never been demonstrated, mind you, in reality, in nature that I've asked for. That I'd said I'll pay anyone $1,000 bet to prove natural looming, which can't be done. It's and then when I explained it, even Chris.
Do you have the
was like, "Oh, that's
$1,000 on
impossible."
you, Chris?
Yeah, of course.
Great.
Yeah, his
Skunk
requirement
Bay.
is for a hill.
Skunk
No,
Bay.
that's not my
You owe me
requirement.
$1,000.
No, Dr. Bob doesn't understand.
You know what's funny though is that you
That's
guys
not
don't
even
want to look at
looming,
the sky
Bob.
because
Oh my
as
God.
soon as you look at the sky, that's where the flat Earth falls apart.
Yeah, it's worth
But as
mentioning
far as
that.
I can tell, there's a lot of unnecessary inference, which is
Right.
highly illogical.
If
Saros
anyone
cycle,
is
therefore a globe, is kind of questionable logic.
Well, if you understood the Saros cycle, it wouldn't be. Just like if you understood the sextant, you couldn't possibly be a flat earther.
Well, Bob,
Yeah, that brings up something interesting because Chris Berry was mentioning the sextant a moment ago, where we do actually use the sky to navigate on the ground. So we know there's a relationship between the sky and the ground, and that's it's a 1-to-1 mapping.
And one of your own Globers, Zanuck, said that using the sextant, you're getting a flat plane measurement that you then have to convert to a ball. And he's on audio recording saying that.
No, he didn't.
He did.
It's not in context fully.
It's not in context.
No,
he did.
The
He
deal
did say
with
that it's just not in context.
if you want me to explain it, I can explain it. Here we go. The measurements that are taken from the sextant, if you don't make any corrections to them, all you've done is measured an angle between 2 points of reference that you can see.
What's the
That's
angle?
it. It's just an angle. It is nothing more. There's no
angle?
edges. There's no sides. There's no distance.
What's the angle add up to?
What's the angle add up to? It's the one you measured.
Yeah. What is the angle? What does your triangle add up to? How many degrees?
Where's the triangle?
Are you really trying to get around this easy answer? How many?
No. Where is the
degrees
triangle,
does your-
Chris?
How many degrees does your triangle add up to?
It's
Where
not a
is
triangle.
the triangle, Chris?
We're using a sextant. What do you mean? Where's the triangle?
Where is
it? Sorry, I use a sextant many times because, well, look at my name. It's not triangling. It's not. We don't use triangle.
Not triangulating?
We just use angles, not a triangle.
How many angles are there then that you're using?
1.
One.
Yeah, each measurement is only one angle.
You need 3 angles for a triangle, Chris.
All these flat earthers talking about sextants and have never used a sextant.
Nope.
I don't
Ever.
talk about sextants because I've never used a sextant. I don't even get into this argument.
Well, let's not get our knickers in a bunch. Basically, we're looking through some sort of optical instrument and drawing some sort of angle. And so we need to look at what assumptions we're making when we're drawing those angles. Does
not drawing an angle.
on a flat surface, would the horizon rise perfectly to the level of the eyes? I don't think so. I think that would give you more than 90 degrees right there if the horizon doesn't rise perfectly to the level of the eyes. Even
See,
over a
when you
flat
That's what
That's
dip
a very
correction's
nice
all about, Lemon.
With
Wait,
a
there's a
sextant,
very nice
right,
That's why we
assessment.
do dip correction.
Lemon.
There's
So
a,
we're
With a
there's a very nice
sextant,
assessment
constantly-
hidden in the middle of all that.
we're
in which
explorers constantly correcting for dip. They're like going around and with a pen and paper, if it was even invented by the time they were using this, and constantly doing mathematics on the ocean to try and figure out where the hell they were.
yes.
to say,
No,
to
there's a
say
filthy table right there in the book that tells you what dip angle, what you use,
So
Chris.
ancient explorers are
Simply
using a piece of paper and a table.
Chris, let me finish what I was saying, please. You're just going to talk over me? The table's right there in the book. All you got to do is look up your height above the surface of the ocean. That's it. The only number
So
you
these
need.
ancient explorers that I'm mentioning, they were using this book.
they're using
They
form
weren't using
because
a
they've done
sextant.
it for so long.
They weren't.
They used
When
the
was the
stars.
sextant invented?
1715.
Okay,
It was
and was the
yeah.
book that he's talking about, was that in 1715?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
They
In order to
all
use the
carried
tool,
this
you
book
got to
around.
know.
They all had this
How-
book.
Hey,
How are you
Chris,
going to use
by
the
the way,
tool without the book?
Chris, which one of those two in the chat is a triangle? Figure A or figure B?
And to answer what Lemonbird says, the sextant is not an optical instrument. You use your eyes with it, but it's just 2 mirrors.
We
You have,
actually, I think,
you have a choice of either using just an empty tube to look through to place your eye in the correct alignment, or you can have a telescope, and that's a little telescope attached to it, and use that instead if the thing is too small and too dim to be viewed, like a star. The sun,
I gotta
you
say
just
this.
need
I have
put
to
a
say
tube.
this after using.
I
have to say-
with the sun and the moon, if you do that, use just the tube part. You don't put the telescope part on it. So it's not an optical instrument. That cop out doesn't work, Lemon.
Okay, I need to say, fuck! Why in the fuck are we jumping around all kinds of 3 or 4 different topics? Weren't we talking about the Saros cycle and try to close that up before going to freaking 3 or 4 tangents around?
Yeah.
Sure. The Saros
just-
cycle is dependent on knowing the orbits of the moon and the rotation of the Earth. Period. You've
Well,
got
the
to
only
know
problem-
different orbital
I
periods.
just
Jose?
wanted to show that from the angle of the sun from Australia is the wrong way, as what it would need to be on a flat Earth as it rises.
Well, the Saros cycle is a basically roughly 18-year, 10 months and some change pattern that could work over a flat or a globe or whatever, but it would be more likely to work on a flat Earth that's not moving, or at least a geocentric Earth that isn't moving, because you have a stable base of operations that isn't moving around to give you much more constant charts and much more constant predictions.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
Lemon, tell us exactly how the Saros cycle is determined.
Just by looking at the sky and clocking the pattern.
Nope. You have to know the different orbital periods of the moon.
You could get an orbital period just by looking at the sky and timing how long it takes to repeat a pattern.
Okay, and how many times would you have to do that in order to find the period of one Saros cycle if you just simply looked at the sky?
You just look at the sky and see how much it repeats over and over again. I guess it would depend on how many times you have to do it, would depend on how long you live. Back in the biblical days, it looks like people were living 100, 200, 300 years. So that gives you a lot of time to do a lot of observation and to
that's
chart a
full of
lot of patterns.
That's full of shit. You have to look at nearly 300 orbits of the moon? Because what are the different orbital periods of the moon, Lemon?
Your questions are interminable, Dr. Bob. I will not subject myself to this level of interrogation. So be warned, Dr. Bob, that I feel quite free to end this conversation at any time. But Dr. Bob, I don't know that. So why don't you tell me?
So adorable.
After 5 years of doing this with Globers like yourself, Dr. Bob, I have no patience for this anymore. I'm so sorry.
And in
Please
5
tell
years,
me, Dr. Bob, what you're talking about, because I don't know.
Well, in 5 years, you've learned nothing. There's a period of the moon that goes from new moon to new moon. There's an orbital period of the moon, and there's a sidereal period of the moon. And you have to take those all into account in order to come up with a Saros cycle.
So let's look at this logic.
You have a node to node, you have a phase to phase, and you have an orbital period. You have to include all three of those in order to determine the Saros cycle. And do you know who did that? Guy named Haley.
Dr. Bob, I don't.
Guy named Haley did that.
So, Dr. Bob, all we can see at best is that something is circling something. At best, you have the sun, moon, and stars circling overhead to give you that generalized pattern. The Earth does not have to be part of that scenario at all. And the Earth doesn't even have to be a ball for that scenario either. So the only necessary inference we have to draw, Dr. Bob, is that at least something is circling overhead for an orbit. That is all.
Okay, so something's in orbit around the Earth. Excellent. Well done.
Can we attend maybe? Can we, because I think, I don't know, Chris, are you interested in talking to Bob for a minute about these triangles?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, I just posted a picture.
I'll share my screen. I'll share first Bob's picture and then your picture.
Yeah.
So
now, before we start talking with Chris has to tell me which A or B is a triangle.
I just posted my own picture. You tell me.
I don't care about yours. I want you to answer my quiz.
Okay.
A or B is a triangle.
Before we get there, people need to know, or the audience and you guys on Discord, that I just started sharing my screen. And I will share those images. The question that Bob is asking is up on screen right now. And then Chris Berry posted a second image. Now we can comment.
The globe model even uses 90-degree right triangles at the center of the Earth, which, by the way, is a total supposition. It has to, because you have to have a 90-degree right triangle to use a sextant. That's their own model. And Bob and whoever else, doofus dumbass, was saying that I was wrong. So they're wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
okay,
you're
which of those is a triangle? A or B, Chris?
The tool itself only measures an angle, one angle, between 2 points of reference that you can see. You can turn the sextant on its side and measure an angle between 2 points of reference, get that angle, it not needing to be a right angle, and still have an angle that you measured.
Yeah,
there's no flat planes. There's no 90-degree angles anywhere.
Your sextant wouldn't work. I just posted an
Chris, you have to answer the question. Is it A or B?
1 second. 1 second, guys. Now, Chris, Chris answered the question with this image that I'm sharing in the screen right now.
I don't have to do anything Bob says. Bob likes to play games. I don't understand it. He gets his jollies that way, I guess. But I don't. It's
not a game.
I posted. Okay, then doofus, look at the image I posted and tell me why it's wrong.
What I'm telling you is about the sextant device itself. The device itself cannot use. No, you said, hold on, Chris Berry, you're not going to interrupt me right in the middle of this because you said a sextant requires a 90-degree angle somewhere in order for you to measure that angle.
It does.
So when I said you can turn the sextant on its side and measure 2 points of reference, the angle between them, and there's no 90-degree angle anywhere in any of that, what was wrong with that statement?
I don't know what you're talking about, first of all. Turning it on its side, is that a proper use of a sextant?
You can use it that way to measure an angle.
Okay.
Yeah, you can definitely use it that way.
The question?
Well, let Doofus make his point. I think Doofus has got to make a very good point here about how it is just an angle measuring device, and there's no right angle. There's no triangle.
It's one angle of a three-angled
Yeah, but so
triangle.
Right, hold on, Chris. You're accepting then that it's just measuring an angle. You understand that then, do you?
Yes. Yes.
Great. So we've got that. The key point,
Yes.
all it does is measure an angle. Now, what happens after that is another issue. So you just said you can't operate hold on. You just said earlier you can't operate a sextant without it having some sort of 90-degree element. And Doofus has just explained to you, and you've just now accepted it, that all it does is measure an angle. So you've now accepted it doesn't require anything.
An angle of
90
what
degrees.
shape? What shape of an angle does the sextant use?
An angle. That's its
No,
shape.
what shape does it form? When you use a sextant, what shape does it form?
All right, so I'll make it very simple. I'll make it very simple for you, Chris, because it's very
That isn't
difficult.
a shape.
But I'll make it very simple for you because you're trying to make it difficult. So if we have a sextant turned on its,
I'm trying to make it difficult.
Yes, you are. Here we go. You keep interrupting. That's why you're making it difficult. So here we're going to try it again.
You want to answer a simple
If you have it, there you go again. Here we go. If you have a sextant turned on its side and you're measuring an angle between 2 points of reference, then you can see, and those things are not the same distance away from you, there's clearly no 90-degree angle involved, yet you can still measure that angle.
Well, to measure an angle, you need at least 3 points. Your eye
Right,
is
and there
one of the
doesn't
3
need to be a
points.
90-degree angle anywhere.
What are the other 2 points in the sextant? One of them is the supposed horizon, and the other is the star. What are the other 2
Lemon,
points?
you didn't listen to the scenario, so I'll say it again. You turn the sextant on its side, and you're measuring the angle between 2 points on land.
So we're going with 2 points on the land? I thought sextants were usually used for the stars.
Let me read this
You
comment
can use
quickly.
it in,
Let me read this comment quickly. I missed this earlier. I don't know how. Truth Nerds, when we were talking about the Saros cycle, Truth Nerds sent me a €2 super chat saying that the Saros cycle is used to predict apocalypses. Thank you very much. Now it makes all the sense in the world. I appreciate that.
Asked
Like,
what
yeah,
the
now we're
angle
talking about turning it on its side. We're talking about using a sextant for its known purpose of navigation.
Okay, Chris, I've got a diagram that shows. Chris,
I posted multiple images that show a 90-degree right triangle.
Yeah, Chris, I've got a diagram. If Jose could share me, please, showing you exactly what a sextant measures from an example of what it would be used in the real world. If you could look at that, please.
Do I have to stop screen sharing Chris Berry's triangles and drawings?
Please do. Yes, I'm trying to show him how it actually is used.
Chris, what do you think about that? You don't want me to share your triangles.
Well, we saw
it. It proves my point. So let's take it off the screen. It proves my point. But go ahead.
Well, it doesn't prove anything, Chris. You're simply measuring the angular separation.
You guys are saying you guys even admitted that you have to do dip corrections to correct for a ball.
You're measuring the angular separation between
Why do you
2
have
points.
to do dip corrections?
One very useful feature of a sextant is to do what Doofus said and lay it on its side. If you can see 2 visible points on your chart that you can identify on the land that you're looking at, like a lighthouse and a big tall building someplace, and you measure that angular separation, you can figure how far away you are from those points.
Yeah, I think if you didn't do
it's
the
a
dip
real
correction,
use of a sextant.
you wouldn't get to where you're trying to go.
Can I show Chris how it's the angle that's actually measured in a real world example for what it's?
We'll keep it short, back and forward, and dynamic. Try not to do longer, too long presentations. We'll keep it more dynamic, back and forward,
Well, I need to spend about a minute going through it, if that's okay.
Yeah. We'll try to keep it minutes, intervals, and then, back and forward, and the other people will be able to also participate. That's the whole idea.
Yeah, I'm happy for people to participate, but I mean, if you don't want me to, Jose, I won't.
I would love you to present your screen and have an interactive discussion with us.
I'm more than happy to have an interactive experience, but you're not sharing me at the moment.
Oh, yes, you are. You're not watching YouTube, I guess.
Okay, it's not happening inside. Okay, perhaps it's okay. All right. So, Chris, can you see my diagram?
Hold on. Okay.
Right. Can you see? So what we've got here is a ship here with someone in the crow's nest with a sextant. Okay. And we're looking at the sun at the moment.
Why does it have to be can't you straighten it out? Why does it have to be at an angle?
Because that makes the point. I could be putting at the very bottom, if you like. I do that deliberately to make sure you don't get confused about being.
Turn my head.
No, you don't. You can. It's designed to sufficiently off to not give the impression it's on the top of a globe in some special case. It shows that it's universal. There's nothing special about being on the top. You shouldn't have to. The text is horizontal. The only thing I've inclined slightly is where vertical is. You should know the inclination of your thing is required. So here we have a little sextant I've got here in the crow's nest of this ship, and it's just doing its business. And here we have the sun that it's looking at. Now, what a sextant does is to measure the angle between the horizon and the lower limb, usually of the sun in this case. So the angle that it measures is this, what's called here HS minus. There's an index correction that you have to apply, but fundamentally it's something called HS, which is the standard notation for the sextant angle that you measure. That's just between the horizon and the lower limb of the sun. So that's the angle you measure. There is no triangle involved in this at all, as you can see here. There's no triangle. It's just an angle. Just an angle. There is no triangle involved. There is no horizontal baseline. There is none of that stuff. So for you to claim, I'm talking to Chris Lemon. I'm not interested in any comment you've got to make, Chris Lemon. I'm not.
Yes, Rumpus, interactive dynamic. Remember, the whole room is here.
Yeah, but the thing is, Lemon's an exception. He's just an idiot.
No, he's not. Nobody's an exception.
We're and not allow anybody to interact with you. So you need to shut up long enough for somebody to respond to you.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris. I was trying to get Chris's response.
No, you're talking to the 15 people here in the group, Rumpus.
Right? Am I able to speak now again?
Well, Lemonberg want to maybe address that point, and then Chris Berry might want to address this point too, and then you can go on.
Rumpus, all I'm saying is that 3 points implies a triangle, because all you need for a triangle is 3 points implicitly. So there's an implicit triangle. As long as you have 3 points from the sun to you to the horizon or whatever, that's it.
So as I said, you've just got an angle and there's no triangle involved. So the thing the sextant measures is HS minus IC, and that's all you need to measure. There's no triangle involved in this at all. And so but the angle you need for all this knowing where the GP is, and I'm going to add a rather complicated bit. So be prepared for some complications here. That might be a bit too much for you.
Oh my God.
Right. Okay. Sorry, that's damn it.
Lord.
Okay, shout out to the second son. Let me read this comment, Rumpus, before you carry on.
Jesus Christ.
Doofus Manfred for a $5 super chat. Acknowledging that dip correction is used. Also acknowledges that the sextant doesn't require a 90-degree angle in order to measure an angle. Thumbs down, Chris. Ooh.
Right. So so you can see here the angle that the sextant measures. Now the thing is, it's confused because the horizon is not at the horizontal. The angle you actually want is what's called the zenith angle, because that will tell you from the rule about an object is, the angle to something like the Polaris or whatever, gives you the zenith angle, then multiply that by 60 nautical miles, then will give you the distance. And you want the GP, i.e. where this, I'm afraid I'm going to have to I haven't perfected this diagram, but if you can sort of work your way through it, I haven't tuned it, unfortunately. This is the GP here. I've also included the refraction. Why you've got two Earths here, because this is the apparent position of the sun, and this is the real position of the sun, allowing for refraction. So yeah, if you can bear with me, I know it's a bit of a mess, but anyway, the original angle you've measured.
Questions or?
Okay, well, I was going to quickly. I only need another 30 seconds. So the angle you've measured is HS minus IC, and then what your angle you're after is this one here, this Z angle. That's the angle you're after that will get you this, because the GP down here is where the actual sun is at its zenith, and that's the distance you're interested in. You want this, that's the angle you're after, this Z angle here. And you have to make a number of corrections. One is this dip angle, which you can see here marked dip. And that's because obviously you're up in the sky, because you need to know from the nautical almanac will help you, will give you that from the distance you are at. And to determine this Z angle, you need to subtract the dip angle, you need to subtract corrections due to refraction and parallax and a number of other things. So the point is, to get this Z angle, you need the angle you measure minus the dip angle minus the corrections, and then you subtract that from 90 and you end up with this angle. At no point in that did I use a baseline or even a straight baseline, or even a curved baseline. All I did that is entirely an angle-based calculation. Finished. You can reply.
But see, Rumpus, Chris has been duped by Nathan Oakley and Quantum Racer.
Yeah, I
and
know.
Tenth
Let's
I know,
allow Chris to answer, please. Don't keep going
Well,
tangents.
Okay, that's assuming Rumpus is A, correct, and B, that literally every other source I've Googled and looked at is wrong. Like, that just has to be the case. Rumpus is the only correct one out there. And he's accounting for things that no one else is even accounting for, like refraction of the sun. You tell me in 1750, when they were riding around on their little wooden boat, they were accounting for the refraction of the sun? And then earlier he said that there's no triangle involved to lemon to respond to lemon. And then you see there's a triangle built out from the observer to the horizon to the sun.
But no, that's just an angle. That's just a line. I could carry this line on. There's no other side. For instance, there's no adjacent. There's no other side to this. I'm not creating a triangle. I've just got one angle. And if you want to know, Bob has actually done this in the real world with his real world sextant. And you can ask him if he's allowed for refraction. And I think you'll find that he has, because he's done some real world things. He's used a nautical almanac to make the corrections that I've described on here. And that then gives you this zenith angle. So there is no triangle. There is no adjacent. There is no straight line. And all this construction is what you will find in all ancient textbooks on this subject. The ones that you've found.
What are your sources?
Hey,
the celestial navigation. Go ahead, whoever's trying to speak.
Hey, Rumpus, maybe could you answer this question? Maybe this will clear things up. Are those triangles that are put on those diagrams there merely just to prove out the theory, or not the theory, but
there are no triangles in this diagram.
Show the math. If
there are no triangles in this diagram.
Listen to what I'm saying. The diagram.
You just said I had some triangles in this diagram, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Rumpus. Listen to what I'm saying.
Well, you said I had some triangles, and I don't have any triangles.
Don't interrupt me. The diagrams that Chris is talking about show triangles. Are those there just to show that the math works, not to show that we use triangles?
Right, sorry, you said I had some triangles. Okay, yeah, the triangles that you've constructed, Chris, are just made up by people who don't understand how the sextant works. If you go and look at any textbook on the subject, like the one I was trying to describe, the celestial navigation one, the classic one, I can show you, I've actually got online here, I could go through that now if you like. They do not show any triangles of the sort that you have offered in the diagram that you offered earlier, or the diagrams that QE has offered, or the diagrams that 10th Man has offered. And the fact that you're just swallowing the QE 10th Man line without ever thinking about it. I mean, you say you've looked up on the internet. I don't believe you.
I didn't use QE as a source. You know that, right?
So what source did you get that diagram from that it's claimed to be some... So you didn't get it. So you didn't get it from a celestial navigation.
All right, let me hear Chris answer, please.
Just Google sextant angle, and that's it. All of that stuff comes up that I posted. You'll find multiple things. I found another one on a website called knowledgeofc.com. Principles.
So that diagram that you posted earlier came from a celestial navigation website. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say that.
So what are you talking about?
Why are you limiting the source information?
Because we're talking about sextants and celestial navigation, and you said you had a source with about sextants and celestial navigation that had triangles in it. You will not find
all
such
of them
a thing.
That I'm finding have triangles.
Give me one.
Remember, the topic is celestial navigation.
He told you to
Google it. Those triangles are there to show that the math works. It's not; those triangles are not what we use when we take the measurement.
But there's no triangle involved that has a straight baseline. None of the things on celestial navigation will have a triangle with a straight baseline. None of them. And if you found one, show it to us.
A triangle is implicit when you have 3 points like this. Otherwise, your triangle is meaningless.
What are the sides? It's not a triangle. There's no opposite side. There's no adjacent side. It's not a triangle.
It's implicit.
Otherwise, it's not a triangle. No, there's no opposite side.
And how do you relate that to an angle?
Rumpus, you're making it worse.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't want to listen to Lemonbird's gibberish. I want Chris to come up with
I don't want to listen to your gibberish either, but at least I respect you enough to let you finish, even though you lecture and bloviate and go on and interminably and don't even allow a person to respond to you. But go, please continue.
All right. Now the Rumpus can go. Now I heard Lemon. Now you go.
So, Chris, where's this citation that you've got of celestial navigation with a straight line and a 90-degree angle in it, the right angle triangle? And could you please?
Well,
you
I
say
just
you've got
posted a
them.
link.
You say, oh no, the one you didn't. I don't believe that diagram came from a celestial navigation site.
I just posted a new link, Rumpus.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm not looking. Okay, let me get which is this in the which
debate text.
YouTube links? Is that the one?
Debate text.
Oh, right. Okay. So let's get this diagram.
Throw it in the for the next one. Throw it in the Daily Boom on sensor if you can. Kind of.
I will show it in my thing. Here we go. I will grab it and put it on my document. Which one of these diagrams has got a right angled triangle in it?
About quarter way down.
See, the reason he said that
vertical sextant angle.
Yeah, looking at it.
The reason why he said that you quoted QE and 10th Man is because you're saying the exact same crap that they spew every day.
I don't care. I just posted an independent link, so he's checking it out. All the links I can post that are going to show something similar.
Notice that this link that Chris Berry has posted, the first thing, the position fixing by horizontal sextant angle, or HSA, is exactly the topic that I was describing earlier, turning the sextant on its side.
Whatever.
Keep that in mind. He said that we don't do that.
No, I didn't say you don't do that. I said we were talking about a specific method, the vertical sextant angle. And in his chart.
You said we need to use some practical, the way the instrument is used, implying that the method that I mentioned is not used. But here it is.
And then I said, can you use it that way? And everyone said yes, and we moved on. Like, why are you still
this is
talking
not
about that?
This is to do with a lighthouse. So
why does the diagram have a star?
I don't know why, but it says in the figure O is the observer on a ship, and B is the base of the lighthouse. Oh, it's it's L for lighthouse. It's not a star at all, you twat. It's the location of the lantern of a lighthouse. It's got nothing to do with celestial navigation. You utter moron.
You're saying the principle isn't the same?
Yes, this is a short distance where the curvature of the Earth is nothing, and you know the height of the lighthouse. This has got nothing to do with celestial navigation. You utter moron.
Blah, blah, blah. The thing is, 90 degrees would be straight overhead. So the 90 degrees
moron. You do not even go and get a damn thing. So it's typical. You just
90 degrees would be straight overhead, Rumpus. So 90 degrees is in there. You can play semantic games and you can be a British snob or whatever, but 90 degrees is
utter moron, Chris. So you give me you don't even understand your own citation, and I have to go and find out that it's not relevant. Jesus Christ. Absolutely typical, isn't it?
What a
Absolutely typical. I told you that was going to
typical snobbery from Rumpus. Why do you guys have him in a conversation? He's a jerk.
Why do people don't understand
to talk,
with celestial navigation, you measure an angle between directions and not points?
You have to have a point.
I'm gonna share Earth is Live. No, actually, I'm gonna share the screen again. I'm gonna share that link that you posted, Chris, and we'll see if we can. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Let me see a screenshot first. Ooh, principles of position, etc., etc. It's gonna. If you don't see it, please try again. Should be able to see it. The Rumpus is gone for the day. He just came in to destroy the show. I'm gonna deal with that shit today. Let me know when you see this. When you see the screen. You see it?
Hilarious the way these guys misunderstand things. You do realize that if you could actually see the GP of the celestial object you're talking about, if you've got a visual line of sight to it, you don't need to do any navigation. You know where you are.
What?
You're sitting under the damn the celestial body. Look up where it is. That's where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. Again, the images I posted are using 90 degrees. I'm trying to find. Well, I'm trying to find a celestial navigation source, and if that's what he wants.
If we're talking about celestial navigation, Chris,
and
the first
it's worth
celestial navigation is finding the your latitude. And on a flat Earth, you cannot find your latitude using a sextant and have that angle of like Polaris match your latitude. It won't work on a flat Earth, Chris.
That's the image you shared
find your
earlier,
latitude
Chris.
on a flat Earth. You'd be lost 20 miles from shore.
The image you shared earlier, Chris Berry, I got it up. This one, I'm going to repost it.
Oh, that's fine. I found one that says the sextant measures the sun's altitude from the horizon, and we find that altitude is 90 degrees minus the angle of Eratosthenes. Celestial navigation, we call the Eratosthenes angle the co-altitude. The two angles are complements to each other, meaning their sum is 90 degrees.
Yeah, you have to correct for dip correction if you want your measurements to be more accurate.
You correct for 90 degrees is what you're saying.
No, you don't correct for 90 degrees, Chris.
What are you correcting for?
You're correcting for the horizon not being horizontal.
So it says the two angles are complements of each other, meaning their sum is 90 degrees. How's that
And
wrong?
if you look into the actual manual, you also correct for dip correction and refraction.
Okay.
If you want the simplistic view that you get, like for a child's overview, you got that there. But to actually do the more accurate version, you need to use the actual manual.
This is a celestial navigation website. I don't know why you're calling it simple.
Because it's simplified, because it doesn't include dip correction and refraction correction.
Well, maybe it goes on to talk about that, but this is just the basics of using a sextant, the mariner's angle.
Yeah.
Well, then
Also
skip
keep in
forward to the
mind,
point where it gets realistic.
yeah. Also keep in mind that your first
That
posting.
is how you started.
Keep in mind that the first thing that you posted. Keep in mind that the first thing that you posted debunked your claim that you need a 90-degree angle in order to use a sextant.
No, it didn't debunk that. And this new
Yes, it did. The very first diagram that it posted in that thing, the very first diagram. The very first diagram showed you that you did not need a 90-degree angle in order to measure an angle with a sextant.
That's not the claim.
You say it. You said it before when you first got in here.
There's two ways to use it, right? There's horizontal and vertical, right? Which one have we been talking about?
Neither of them require a 90-degree angle because you're measuring an angle, one angle. That's it.
Well, as far as I was led to believe with this dip angle craziness, all we're doing is taking a line from the center of the Earth and poking straight through where the sun is directly overhead at the equator. You could have that over a flat surface. Just like a light in the ceiling of a hallway, you're going to get a dip angle to the light in the ceiling of the hallway, just like the light over the flat Earth. And there's your dip angle correction right there. No globe necessary.
That's not what the dip correction is
that's
for,
not
Lemon.
what dip angle is. Dip angle is also not linear.
Basically, the dip angle is based off of the assumption of a sun going over a ball and being directly overhead of the ball. At the fattest part of the ball at the supposed equator. But you could have a flat surface where the light is in the ceiling. You get a dip correction down to that light in the ceiling as it appears to approach the horizon. There's your dip angle right there.
Let's try this very.
because that's
Let's try this very.
line.
Let's try this very succinctly, in as few words as possible. The horizon is not at eye level. The dip correction corrects for that so that your lower reference is horizontal. The horizon is not a horizontal reference, and that's what it's correcting for, Lemon. That's it. There's nothing else to say about a dip correction. It has nothing to do with the sun overhead. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's just correcting your lower reference.
Well, the horizon appears to be a flat line, which goes against this globe assumption that you're making. And so the dip angle that you're interpreting over a globe is a bad interpretation because the horizon is flat, and you could have some sort of dip angle, not from looking over a ball where the ball is dipping down below the level of the eyes and curving down below the level of the eyes, but a flat surface that doesn't quite approach the level of the eyes where the light appears to be going away.
Lemon, a quick point. You know that the deep angle that we
He's
speak
got a phone
about.
call.
Do you know the deep angle? The deep is not for the chips. Just clearing the air there. Thank you, Alem, for reminding us that.
He's on the call, so he probably didn't hear that, unfortunately.
You can only understand something if you want to understand it.
That's just a silly joke to kind of just calm everybody down and bring it down a few notches, and let's have a normal discussion.
Pull up, go back to debate chat, click on the latest link I posted, and pull that up, please.
Why are you throwing him there? Yeah. Put him in the Daily Boom Uncensored.
What's the difference? It's like you click on the.
Yeah, but like the main chat where everybody's throwing memes and having fun is the Daily Boom Uncensored, and be switching back and forth.
All right.
I got it up. Thank you. All right, the Mariner's angle.
Yeah, pull it up. Let's look at that, and then go down to about halfway.
Like halfway somewhere.
What are all those globes, Chris? What's that globe on your citation, Chris? What is that?
I was going to mention
triangle in there.
Wait, how
your
are
citation proves the globe, Chris.
Hold on, guys.
Good job.
What segment? The Mariner's angle?
Nice.
Are you Jose? Oh, Jose. Okay.
Not a single triangle involved.
All right.
Like
actually, all right. So right there, just scroll to where you see the graphic. What's that line? What's that line? Is that straight line or is that curved? The bottom, the horizon line.
Which line, Chris?
The horizin line.
That is a straight line, Chris.
Straight
flat.
That's the equivalent of it. That's equivalent to a tangent to the.
Yeah,
listen
exactly.
to me. That's equivalent to a tangent to the ellipsoid. It's also simply nothing more than a perpendicular to your zenith. That's really the only thing you're looking for.
Right.
Notice that the diagram.
Let's hear
artificial horizons or anything like that.
Let's hear what point Chris has. Let's hear what Chris point Chris has with this image.
Line from the observer out, and if you connect that triangle, that line extends all the way out until the object you're measuring to, measuring to, it will form and right 90-degree triangle.
Arbitrarily.
But they didn't do that, did they? So there is no triangle, is there?
Right, you're making that up.
If you did that
you're actually measuring an angle.
Why is the line flat and straight and horizontal on a curved surface? Doesn't even make any sense.
It's a tangent, Chris.
This is basic geometry, Chris.
If you have
a line, if your horizontal reference you have is perpendicular to vertical, it's a straight line, regardless of what shape the surface is. You're saying we can't have a horizontal reference while standing on a curved hill. That's absurd.
I got to throw this out before you, Chris. Anamorphic mind just say, and this is actually kind of truth, that you just pulled a gleam. Your own citation disprove you because there's all kinds of globes in this site. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, but I'm showing that it's a flat horizontal line on a curved surface. And if you take that line out, it would go to that object, and you're going to form a right triangle.
It's touching the surface at one point, Chris. And you're ignoring the fact
that there's a curved
Chris. In that picture.
The guy mentions it. He says.
All right, we need one person. Let's get Blue.
I've read it 3 times.
Blue and Chris.
The sextant measures the sun's altitude from the horizon, and we find that the altitude is 90 degrees minus the angle of Eratosthenes. In celestial navigation, we call the Eratosthenes angle the co-altitude. The two angles are complements of each other, meaning their sum is 90 degrees.
That's true, Chris. That's very true. And it has nothing to do with triangles.
So
it's only an angle measurement.
Chris,
we don't even need that. If you use something like a bubble sextant, you can literally be measuring the co-altitude angle directly. That's the only angle we really use is the co-altitude. That's the angle that subtends the distance across the surface of the Earth, Chris. Co-altitude angle is it. It is that angle multiplied times 60 nautical miles per degree that gives you your distance to the GP of the celestial object.
Right, and with every co-altitude angle, you have an altitude angle.
Where's the triangle, Chris?
Yeah, and it's not even being used, Chris. That's what I'm telling you.
Well,
the triangle
it
is
being
implicit
used.
anytime you have 3 points, and you guys
There is
know
no
it.
triangle.
We're playing semantic
Exactly.
games.
It's 3 points.
There's no fucking triangle in it.
There's 3 points. How
It's
many points are
implicit,
there?
Blue, and you
Show
know
me a
it.
triangle.
It's 3 points.
Show me
Anytime
a
you have 3
triangle.
points, a triangle is going to
Lemon
be
bird.
Where is the
implicit.
triangle?
Lemon bird. This is
Lemon,
between
3
Chris
points
and
will
Blue.
define an arc, too. You do know that, right? 3 points can define an arc.
And an arc can describe a triangle. And
Lemon bird. This is between Chris and Blue, please.
There are no triangles involved whatsoever, Chris. Quite simple.
Audible sigh.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
frustrating talking to you people.
Yeah, in the case when
3
you measure
points.
from zenith, there are no 3 angles. There are no 3 points. There's no
There's not?
zenith point, no. There's
And they aren't
zenith
even
Go
line.
points.
There's no point
from
there.
your point to zenith to the object.
The zenith is a line. There's no point there.
It's still 3
Blue
points.
sky. Blue sky.
It's
What
still 3
point?
points.
What point?
It
No.
is 2 directions. More.
It's 2
Nothing
rays,
more.
Chris. It's 2 rays.
I
There's no
need
points
to
involved.
recommend this link for everybody. If you need like evidence for triangles having more than 180 degrees, this is great on a spherical surface. Also about the parallel rays of the sun on a sphere. We got Chris's diagram over here. We got over here also this triangle. How about this? Is this similar to that one?
Most of those pictures are
good.
taken right out of the Davis sextant manual. So
It's
to
good.
say that the sextant is only used on a flat Earth is horseshit.
Small circle, gray
Well,
circles.
they're talking about. There's a reason they're talking about all these calculations and all these corrections because you're not measuring off of a ball. You're supposedly correcting for a ball. So if you're correcting for a ball, then what the hell are you measuring in the first place?
An angle.
If you not use corrections, then it can be on a flat Earth because then you don't need corrections. We use corrections because it's not a flat plane.
Thank you.
That's why. No.
Thank you.
Oh, you're listening wrong. We use the corrections because we're not on
No,
the
I
flat
heard
plane,
you right.
and we need corrections. That's
Yes.
why. If
Right.
we don't use corrections, then it is possible to measure an angle on a flat plane. But we're not on a flat plane, and that's why we use corrections.
Thank you. Finally, somebody admits it.
Hmm.
Someone admits it's
Oh,
your
Chris.
the flat Earth measurement that
Hey,
you
Chris.
then have to supposedly correct for.
Hey,
The
Chris.
reason
No,
they have
it's
to
the other
correct
way
for it-
around, idiot.
The reason they have to correct for it is because the horizon is always moving. It's an intangible object. It's not physical, as in the black swan. Thank
It's
you very
the
much.
fucking
No,
way
hold-
around,
I
idiot.
close my case.
Yeah, just keep in mind he
Case
can,
Hey,
closed.
Chris.
just keep in mind he's allowed
Chris, would you
he's allowed to make an ass of himself, and I'll and I
The
can
jury
explain it
has
again.
deliberated.
He's allowed to make an
Not
ass of him.
guilty.
He's
Not
allowed to
guilty.
make an ass of himself, and I'll explain why. Because if we, as you said, if we didn't need to make the corrections, we would be on a flat plane. But we need to make those corrections because we're not on a flat plane. If he
No,
agrees
that's an
with that,
assumption.
if
That's
he
an
agrees,
assumption.
if he agrees with that, that's fine. He can make himself look like a fool.
Well, no, you also have to correct for refraction, right?
Let me-
You have to correct for refraction.
Yeah,
because you know
that's
that the
correction
horizon
too, Chris.
is refracted.
Yeah, you're correcting
Yeah,
the
Chris.
upper
That's what
reference,
they're
not the
correcting.
lower
Not if
reference.
the
Chris.
object is 25 degrees
Chris.
above horizontal, Chris.
Chris.
It's actually other people blue.
Chris, would you
Everyone's
like-
interrupting you. Go ahead, sorry.
I know. Would you like to see where triangles are being used in this, Chris? Jose, can you
If you
scroll
wanna
down in that
keep going
publication?
after he just conceded my point for the last hour. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I
Keep
reiterate?
scrolling down.
Hold on,
Keep
Sean.
scrolling
Blue.
down, Jose.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Is this
keep
being recorded,
scrolling down,
Jose?
Jose. Yeah, I'm going to show Chris where the
Oh, it's
triangles
on
come into
YouTube,
play.
yeah. I'm gonna have to snip
Right
that
here.
part out.
Right there. There you go. There's the triangles that are being used, Chris. You like those triangles? They're fucking spherical, buddy.
Oh
And that's the only way you can. That's the only way you can do a site reduction.
And
good luck doing that any other way.
And
it only took an hour for one glober to
play.
finally admit you're correcting from a flat plane to a sphere. Wow. Unbelievable.
No, I said the other way
Because if you
around.
don't correct for it, you get the wrong position. Therefore, we don't live on a flat plane. Duh.
Well, the thing is, vision is not geometric,
And
gentlemen. So you have to have a flat correction, not a spherical correction.
And flat corrections to make a curved line straight for calculations, not the other way around.
Your idealized geometric angles don't work because vision is not geometric. Things converge, merge, and disappear, and these rates are all over the place because the rate of dip slows down as an object approaches the horizon with great enough distance.
And with refraction, it's not an issue if the object that you're sighting is 25 degrees above the horizon or higher.
Right, and the maximum correction is, I think, 37 arc minutes, if I remember correctly, which is less than 1 degree. So if you're saying refraction is turning a globe into a flat plane or some bullshit like that, that's a complete lie.
Just like the light in the ceiling of the hallway, gentlemen, it will have a rate of dip toward the horizon. It may even slow down as it approaches the horizon due to refraction over a flat plane.
There's no hallway on the ocean, Lemon Bird.
The same principles apply, Sean, as long as the object is maintaining the same elevation.
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't.
Because the dip is not linear.
It does. A hallway has a ceiling that maintains a constant elevation. The sun, moon, stars, and clouds appear to do so also because there's no physical change in their position. If the clouds were actually lowering down to the ground physically as more than just perspective, eventually you would expect the clouds to crash into the ground. They do not do that, so we're pretty justified in saying that it's probably something optical and due to perspective, not physical. That's why vision is not geometric. There is no physical activity accompanying any of this. It is just
or the surface is not flat.
All.
Yeah, or the surface is not flat. Because if you take a hallway where you have those evenly spaced lights and you look at them going off into the distance and you map the vertical angles, as these lights progressively get further away from you, the angle changes with the inverse, well, the separation between the light and the ground changes with the inverse of the distance, which that's what you would expect over a flat surface. But the sun never does that.
The sun appears
no celestial object does that.
Appears to slow down as it approaches the horizon around the equator. That's why Robothman them were saying we're seeing the sun 23 degrees past this hump of Earth curvature. It appears to have a slowed down rate visible for much longer than it normally would. Instead of being 69 miles per degree, it's more like 70 or 80 or something like that, up to 23 degrees past the equator.
Don't acknowledge what
nobody
I said.
sees that.
Right?
Nobody has ever seen
that. Because it doesn't lead anywhere. You're just using it to obfuscate for the anyway. So what you're saying is going to be ignored for the main point. That's actually going to get us somewhere.
Okay, I'll just reiterate it one more time, even though you're not listening. But that the relationship is with the inverse of distance, which we never see on any celestial object ever. That relationship does not hold true.
The sun, moon, and stars appear to slow down toward the horizon, which shows some sort of inverse relationship there where you say one increases and the other decreases. So it's slowing down around the equator and lingering on the horizon from your perspective due to refraction. From our perspective, it is simply just a flat inverse relationship that's slowing down a little bit. There you go.
So it sounds to me like this is all just an assumption that you're basing off of something that's apparent. And you're not making any measurements to back up your claims.
In a war,
you're just making claims about something that could happen or has the appearance of, but you have zero measurements to go along with it. And I appreciate you responding, but you haven't let me finish yet. So I'm just going to keep going until you actually do let me finish. Okay? So it sounds to me that you need to take some measurements to back up your claims. That's what it sounds like to me.
Coming to take measurements? You're kidding me.
I still think we get to the bottom of Magic Lemon perspective. It sounds awesome and fun.
Boom. Big shout out to Mr. Victory's Radio with a big $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Lemon Bird, there are no clouds in a hallway, silly. And the clouds just follow the shape of the earth. So why would it crash to the ground?
Obviously, there's no physical.
Obviously,
there's no physical activity to show that it's actually raising or lowering, yet it appears to ramp down toward the floor. The only way that we can explain that is some sort of optical perspective effect, which mirrors a hallway where objects appear to stay at the same elevation. And since you guys are basically interpreting these measurements in very inconsistent ways, we can bring to bear another different interpretation of the same evidence. That is all we have to do.
Can I ask a question, Lemon?
You're spending way too much time in hallways, Lemon.
As long as the object maintains its elevation, Blue, the same principles can apply.
That's his cherry. That's his cherry.
You've got apples and water buffalo confused here, buddy.
Wait a minute, just Lemon, just really quick.
On topic.
Lemon is 100% right.
The stingray.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Good luck.
I mean,
it's all optical. You turned a circle, a flat circle into a ball.
Lemon. Thank you, Gary. Lemon, is it possible if we know the height of an object and we just take the center point, and we know where it is, degrees in our field of view and relative to ourselves, so something like the sun above us, and let's just assign, I don't know, 1,000 miles to that object. That's how high it is. Is it possible to work out how far away it is based on the angle?
Yeah, but you need a triangle to do that with sides and angles that are determinate and geometric. Since vision is not geometric, you may have a problem, but you can do it up to a point, sure, and have a fairly decent approximation. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, let's give 1 degree or even 2 degrees of inaccuracy due to extreme refraction, and that would be utterly extreme. So if an object is 1,000 miles high, and it takes up 1 degree, we'll expand that 1 degree now to 3 degrees, let's say. So for that 3-degree object to touch the horizon, it would have to be 1.5 degrees above the horizon. Being 1,000 miles high, how far away would that be, please?
You want to repeat those numbers again? I don't think he was like taking notes.
I just don't care. This is the 3rd time he's asked a similar geometric quiz question to me. I just don't really give a damn. I do not have the mental energy to deal with this right now. Stingray, go ahead and answer. I don't give a shit. I really don't.
Okay, I will do. So, I mean, you could use an online right angle triangle calculator. Would do the same thing. So, 1,000 miles high, and obviously the sun's probably a hell of a lot higher than that, even on flat Earth bullshit, would have to travel tens of thousands of miles away directly in a straight line, and I'm talking like 60, 70,000 miles away to get down to the last 10 degrees. And then it gets even more ridiculous. If it's 4,000 miles high and takes up half a degree in your vision, even allowing for the most ridiculous forms of refraction that we have ever seen in that last 3 degrees, it would still have to travel upwards of 120,000 miles away from you in a straight line. I find that fascinating on flat Earth because it's just spatially fucked, right?
No. So you're forgetting that your field of view changes with either going up or away. It changes, and it's limited based on your elevation over the surface. And so you're going to have that compression of your field of view with distance that you're not accounting for. You count it as curvature and refraction. That's not what's going on. It's just simple perspective. Your limited field of view is limited at the ground because you're usually close to the ground. That's going to limit what you can see and how far you can see it. If you go up 1,000 feet in elevation, you're going to see the sun much further out, won't you?
Gary,
that
angle will be completely different.
Works for things that aren't on the Earth. That limited angle works for something that's above the surface of the Earth, man. Man, this is some heavy
your whole
goalpost
field of view
moving.
is limited by your
That is
your
some heavy
elevation over the
goalpost
surface.
moving.
No, it's not a goalpost movement. It's just a fact of reality. It's all optical. You guys, instead of factoring that into your equations, you decide you want to call it curvature and refraction. And so it seems to work out. But if you just accounted it as perspective and you figured out the compression rates, you'd be able to figure it out with a flat Earth, no problem.
All right, so Gary,
you're not counting for that.
Yeah. So Gary, is it possible, due to the laws of perspective, for me to calculate using basic trigonometry the angle of something that is 4,000 miles away when it's above me?
Only if you can see the ground at that point that's underneath it at the same time, and you can actually measure the angles. You can't, because perspective will not allow you to do so, will it?
I mean, do you know how far that someone have to go to get 20 degrees above the horizon if it's 4,000 miles above me?
You got a loading screen, Blue.
No, it doesn't matter. It's a simple perspective. Your field of view has a limit. The limits for the angles for latitudes are based on sea level perspective, right? Now, if you go up an elevation 1,000 feet, everything's completely changed, right? So you have to base all of them based on the one thing because it's a perspective angle. Perspective. The closer you are to the ground, the more compressed your field of view is for distance-wise at the surface level. And you cannot measure accurately anything in height unless you can see the base and the top, and you know the distances to both. If you don't see the actual base, you can't measure it, and instead you decide it's curvature and refraction.
No. Listen, we're trying to work out the flat Earth here. Fuck curvature. Fuck a globe. It's irrelevant. So, at 4,000 miles high, let's say the sun is, and it's 20 degrees above the horizon in my vision. I am stood myself 6 foot above the horizon, and I'm looking 20 degrees up. That sun would be around 11,000 miles away from me in a straight line. And that's wicked. That's awesome. What about if it dropped another 10 degrees, Gary? How far would it be away then?
The sun will sit, when it drops to your eye level, that's when it's about 6,200 miles away. It's perspective.
10 degrees above my eye level. 10 degrees above
it doesn't
my
matter.
eye level.
You just trace the sun with your hand, follow it with your hand, and where does your arm go? Down to your eye level, and it reaches a point. Now, if you go up in elevation, that point changes, doesn't it? And you'll see that sun much further out at a much further distance before it hits that level again, right? That's why all the latitude lines are based on perspective, based on sea level. And then you guys calculate what you can't understand is the compression of your field of view and how everything has to compress into that field of view as it moves away from you. Has no choice. It can't go anywhere else. It has to go towards that center frame.
You're starting with a bad axiom, Stingray, a very bad axiom. You're assuming that vision is geometric. We don't see things preserved in a numerical way for geometric, trigonometric considerations for vision. So you have a central fallacy that needs to be addressed. Vision is not geometric, not quite like that.
You're introducing the fallacy called special pleading.
No, you're special pleading. It's just a reality. Vision has to be geometric when it's not. You're the one who's special pleading is you.
Geometry suddenly stops working at distances on Earth. Interesting.
Well, the thing is, to back your geometric vision that you're talking about, you need a countable unit. And vision does not reduce to countable units, not all the time. Things converge, merge, and disappear, making your countable units, unseen and, disappear. So based off of that, vision is not geometric. You don't have countable units to prove that it's so.
Awesome. So I've got 2 questions for you and Gary. And either of you can answer, but I'm sure there'll be different answers anyway.
Quiz time.
So there is a unit which we can measure in vision, given the fact that we're spatially aware, or can be, of 360 fucking degrees. So what we can use is degrees, which is a really convenient way to measure the size of things in our vision.
But those degrees are useless unless they translate to a height or a distance. And if you can't even see the object, even though it's physically there with the same height, still there, just unseen, then effectively, sir, vision is no longer geometric, especially past the diffraction limit. I am so sorry.
So, sorry, can you explain to me how the diffraction limit comes in? Lemon, go for it.
Eventually, an object of 6 feet will converge, merge, and disappear. You're going to have no angle, no triangle, no geometry, no trigonometry. It will converge, merge, and disappear, making vision not geometric right there.
Into a single sensory point. Yes, Lemon?
It will just merge into the surroundings. Even if it's one point, you're not going to be able to resolve it. It will converge to a vanishing point eventually.
Brilliant. Can you tell me what variables relate to the diffraction limit of a lens, please? And
you tell me, because quiz time is over. After dealing with you for 5 years, I'm not doing this shit.
Can I mitigate them? Do you think I can mitigate lens diffraction? Do you think that's possible?
Quiz time is over.
Oh, Lemonbird, can you have an angle between 2 directions?
You have to have at least 3 points for any angle. 3 points also implies a triangle as well.
No, you do not need points. Just directions is good enough.
How are you going to know where you started from direction-wise without a starting point? How do you know where you ended with these 2 directions without 2 endpoints? 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 points implicit in what you're talking about.
The direction doesn't have to end.
Yeah, Lemon, you know.
So how do you know how big your triangle is?
Lemon, you know,
you're not measuring a triangle.
Tell you anything except an angle. To translate them into usable information, you need a distance, a length, a triangle. Otherwise, your angle is meaningless.
Lemon, do you think when people set out to, like Christopher Columbus or other people or the Vikings before then, to discover new land, they needed an endpoint for the direction of their fucking compass?
Quiz time is over, and I'm not doing your bland rhetoric anymore.
No, a direction doesn't need an endpoint, and an angle between 2 directions is also an angle. You don't need a triangle for it. You need only one angle and 2 directions.
Idealized abstraction back to reality. That's where you have to translate those angles to distances, buddy. Otherwise, your idealized abstract angle is meaningless.
Listen to the desperation in his voice.
Sean,
him and Brian.
You know that what we're saying is true. And blathering rhetoric from you, Stingray, Rumpus, does not mask the fact that you have nothing.
I do find it interesting, though, Lemon. I do find it interesting, Lemon, that you've got this effect, along with Gary, that you can't adequately explain, you can't adequately demonstrate, and you have no measurements for whatsoever. Yet, when we can predict the rate of which something falls, we can do it based on the curvature of the Earth, and it works every time. Weird, that, right?
It's good enough. You do the measurements and interpret them poorly, we'll come back behind you and say, oh, you can interpret it this way in a much more consistent way over a flat surface. Same measurements for your side and my side, just a different and more consistent interpretation.
No, you just deny everything we say, Lemonbird. You don't disprove it. You deny it. You present no evidence to contradict it. You just give us your opinion.
Sean, all we need is logic. You don't have geometric units of vision to count out, and your angle is nothing if it is not translated into a length or some sort of geometric unit.
No, you need measurements, not words, not rhetoric. You need measurements.
How do you measure something that's unseen, Sean? You can't do that. Eventually, stuff is unseen and unmeasurable by angles or optics alone. You know that it's there, it's just not seen. That's where vision breaks down and is no longer geometric.
It is so unlogic to if you only have 2 directions, you can measure an angle between it. That's logic. You don't need an endpoint for measuring one angle.
Idealized abstraction that is not married to reality. If your line never ends, how do you stop measuring that line and start thinking about something else? If you have an infinite line that goes off infinitely, you have no measurement anyway, because you would never be able to stop measuring the thing and think about what, if anything, that line means. What you say is logically contradictory. You need to translate that line into a finite unit so you can think about it and take that abstraction and make some sort of length or some sort of significant measurement with the thing. I mean, what you're
You're
saying
not
is just
measuring
ridiculous.
You're not measuring a
still have
line.
an
You're
What
angle.
is
measuring
an
an
angle,
angle.
Lemon?
You aren't
What's
measuring
an
a
angle,
line. You
Lemon?
aren't measuring the distance that line goes out to. You're measuring an angle.
Okay, for that you
Lemon,
need a
an angle
triangle.
is
You need a triangle with
Lemon.
definite dimensions and
You aren't
definite
using a
No, you
triangle.
don't.
geometry.
There's no triangle
No, you
involved.
don't. Lemon. Look
God
up the
damn,
definition
man.
of an angle, Lemon. What is an angle? It is the inclination between two lines.
And you can't
That's the
have an
definition
angle
of an
without at
angle,
least 3
sir.
points. You can't have an angle
You
without.
don't need a length on those lines. Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. You need
Well,
no
the thing
length
that,
whatsoever.
well, it
The
just seems like
definition of an angle is the inclination between two intersecting lines.
you guys are trying to f with the mind with all of these
I'm
semantics.
sorry if that hurts your feelings.
All of this bullshit. It just seems like you
There are
guys.
no hall lights involved. I know that disturbs you.
There's at least 3 points. At least.
Two intersecting lines.
Okay,
The inclination between them is
lines are
what we
without an
call an
endpoint?
angle.
But Blue, it goes down the
Say
same
what?
thing. How do you know how long that line is without a terminal endpoint? That's at least 3 points right there.
I don't need to know how long the line is. I'm not trying to measure the length of the line. I'm trying to measure the inclination between that line and another line. I don't care how long the lines are.
Okay, then all you know at best, Blue, is the inclination. But it hasn't translated to a distance. It
That's
hasn't
the
translated
angle.
to anything beyond the inclination. That's it.
That's the angle. That's all we want. That's all we need.
But I thought that we were trying to get distances over the Earth, distances. We were trying to translate this into a distance. So now the game has changed from just the inclination between two lines to now we're trying to make triangles with sides, geometry, and lengths.
No, we're not. No, we're not, Lemon. We know that the co-altitude in degrees times 60 nautical miles per degree will give us our distance to the GP. Even you guys don't argue about that.
In that case, you're just superimposing a rate onto an angle. You're saying we just decided that at 69 miles per degree, we just decided that off of GQ, and now we're going to multiply 69 times the number of degrees we think we are over the equator over a ball. At that point, that's kind of,
No, not over the equator, Lemon. Not over the equator. We're going to measure the angle from our position. That's all. We get the co-altitude at our position to a celestial object times 60, and that's the number of nautical miles to the GP of that object. Your people don't even argue this. If you're saying that's wrong, you better get with Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser and 10th Man and Brian's Logic and all the rest of those guys, because all of them have bought into the idea that 60 nautical miles per degree works.
Well, you could have that over a flat surface. You're in the hallway looking at the light in the ceiling of the hallway. You get a dip rate, and you superimpose that now onto the flat hallway as opposed to over the ball. There you go.
It actually doesn't work. I can't draw that out and make it work. You want to see a drawing, and maybe you can tell me where I'm wrong?
You see the light in the ceiling dips 1 degree per foot. You see that it's 12 degrees lower in the ceiling, so you know that you're 12 feet away from the light. There you go, over a flat surface. Whoop-de-doo.
That doesn't work because a hallway is linear, and we don't see it linear in nautical navigation.
And neither do we see it on the Earth. We see a rate that appears to slow down for Polaris toward the equator, and that's why you had to cobble together the 23-degree axial tilt to explain why we're seeing at 23 degrees below the Earth curve that would normally block Polaris if you're viewing it in the south and looking toward the north through this block of Earth curve.
I'd like to present something, if that's possible. I posted a drawing in the Daily Boom, and I'd like Lemonbird to tell me how if those angles are different. There's 3 angles drawn there. There's an angle to a point in space that's so far away, and then there's one that's way further away, and then there's one that's really close. Now, are those 3 angles different, Lemonbird? Yes or no? No long explanation. Are those 3 angles different, or are they the same? Did I draw them with the same triangle? Well, I'll answer the question since you're not going to answer it. They're the same angle, Lemon, but they're different length lines, aren't they? See, we're not measuring the length of the line. We're measuring the angle of that line to another line. So your entire premise just falls apart. And no, if you've got your light above and you walk 69 millimeters toward it, the angle of that light is not going to rise up 1 degree. That only works on a sphere, Lemon Bird. It does not work on a flat surface. I've proven this 3 different ways.
He ran for it.
Of course he did.
Yeah, I was getting really, really sick of him.
I completely ruined him.
Well, we all did, but he ran out of nonsense to say.
Well, yeah, I'm not taking all the credit.
You know who takes all the credit? The audience. 54 people, 55 people watching, 43 thumbs up. Woohoo! Let's see if we can get up to 50 likes. We're going to stay here an extra 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll do a round of final thoughts. If you guys can support, there's a PayPal link and Super Chat. So consider entertain the idea and hitting me up with a little something. Lemon say, fuck this shit. I'm out of here.
I mean, the whole thing is Lemon Bird, Brian's Logic, Gary Wybenga. They all get this idea in their head that's put there by other people who are idiots trying to convince themselves of a fiction. And they can't reconcile that the measurements we take in reality don't add up to what they think that reality is. And then you have this cognitive dissonance that causes them mental pain where they can't reconcile the two.
But Gary Wavenga might pick up where Lemon left off, you know. Just saying.
Yeah, but I also had the Nordic nautical tables in my hands. And it's actually a whole part of it is going about refraction and how to compensate for it. So what they said is completely nonsense.
Yeah, I have a question for Gary, which I asked him yesterday. I couldn't get it out of him. Well, what does it mean by past the diffraction limit? What does it mean? Past the Rayleigh criterion?
Hey, I'm at work, but I never said one word about the data.
You always
give me the clip where I said it, because I never even
always every day you say it.
I have never mentioned the word diffraction ever.
Gary,
you cannot go find one time where I said talk about diffraction at all. Never.
I corrected myself. I said the Rayleigh criterion.
Yeah. Okay. What about it?
It's about the same. How
what about
do you pass the Rayleigh criterion? What is the limit of Rayleigh criterion?
The Rayleigh criterion would be based on your natural eye, what you can see, right? It comes to a point where you can't resolve when there's not enough angular separation between two objects. It's not objects; it's 2 points.
But what is you? Who is you?
What?
I don't see very well. Some people see much better than I am.
Okay, we're going to just pretend that everybody has perfect 20. You're putting little semantical shit in here.
I'm not.
Just assume everybody has perfect vision. That's the Rayleigh criteria is based on their perfect vision. Okay, we got 20 vision. You guys will obfuscate and change direction.
Do you know who Scotty is, the Australian kid? He say he's legally blind also. He's a flat earther too.
Rayleigh criterion is based on our vision? What?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's what you can resolve. It's the limit that you can still resolve 2 objects as separate with enough angular separation. Once you pass that limit,
please be quiet.
Remain calm. Let me finish.
Who is you?
Okay, I'm not. Jose doesn't want to stop when people interrupt me. It's fine. It's his show.
I got your answer, Gary.
It was a fun.
Who is you?
It was a fun dynamic show. Even Lemon was here. He was happy with it. Chris was here. Was happy with it. Now you don't like that. Be happy, Gary. Be happy, bro.
See, Gary isn't allowed to
I'm happy.
talk over everyone else. So
I'd like to complete my sentence, but you don't let me.
And
So
he interrupts him, then he gets mad and he sulks.
says the one who gets screaming loud when everybody interrupts him.
Okay,
And acts like a
when you
maniac.
interrupt me,
Yeah, that's
Gary. When you interrupt me. See, you constantly interrupt people, and I screamed at you because that's what you do to a child when he misbehaves. You scream at them. You don't hit them. You scream
Stingray,
at
I'm
them.
gonna put your screen up.
I have never screamed at my kids. What kind of a parent were you?
Gary, complete your sentence, please.
Sorry, I'm at work. I can't keep pulling my phone out of my pocket to unmute. I got to take care of some stuff here for about 5 minutes.
Your screen is up, Stingray.
Yeah, well, it was a question for any flat earther because they're all on about this I don't know, diffraction limit, the limit of your optical vision. They can't adequately describe it. But to be honest, things disappearing from the bottom is actually quite irrelevant. What's more important is, in this example here, and this is for every flat earther, this long line here represents the middle of the right-hand camera's vision. And I've just set it like a fraction of a millimeter down so that we're above it. But, a fraction of a millimeter up and we're below it. So it's dead in the center. This camera that we're looking through, the observer, happens to be dead in line with the deck of this vessel. So they are at the same elevation from the water as the deck of the vessel is from the water line. Now, the issue that Flat Earth has got to figure out is when this vessel moves away, something weird happens. It diverges away to such an extent that when we zoom into it, keeping our lens completely level, we see it's dropped way too low. That deck now is nowhere near that line. And if it carried on, it would just get lower and lower and lower. That is the issue. The tangent to the chimney, the stack, is the center of my vision. Yet when it was closer, I was looking up at that stack. That's what you've got to figure out. Why did the stack get below my vision, and why did the deck disappear behind water? They went down. You need to describe why things below my vision are going down, or centered on my vision are going down. That is not things disappearing from the bottom up. It is geometrically and observably and optically moving down. You cannot explain it, but have a go.
Baby, are you down, 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 down? Go ahead.
Yeah, the Stingray, it's very good that you're using tankers, because that's actually what we at sea see the best, is a superstructure of a tanker first before you actually see the whole hull. And when you grab a binoculars or whatever, you still only see the superstructure.
Yeah, I mean, one of the important things about testing, I mean, none of these flat earthers put any effort in, except Gary with elastic bands, to be able to test anything that has any predictive power. So on here, I've got vertical cameras at 1, 2, 3, and 4 meters, looking at vessels at distances. And this is a prediction on a curved surface, which matches reality. The prediction on a flat surface comes nowhere near reality. This isn't hard. These objects are actually moving down in contradiction to perspective and vanishing points and diffraction. They're moving down. They need to figure it out.
I think the stream looks great, looks beautiful. Shout out to this old school laptop that my brother-in-law hooked me up with, that I am able to have a better streaming experience while I sort out my main PC that I have to get a hold of Beeble and see if I can send him the the hard drive and see if he can save a few of my old files and we can get it back online. But it's working, man. It's hot. It hits up really good, but it works. I'm using it for the OBS Streamlabs and stuff, and I'm doing the participation on my regular laptop over here. It's good having two devices.
Well, Stingray, sorry. Stingray, when you take that distance in that quiz time pointless math problem that you gave me from before, you get a sun that's about 30,000 miles away to be 1,000 miles up and 1.5 or whatever degrees above the horizon. But that's assuming that vision is geometric and every length and every angle maps in a one-to-one correspondence with these idealized geometric triangles. That assumption is faulty because, as we know, the units of vision, and by units, Stingray, I mean the length of objects and the length of separation between two objects, like the sun and the horizon or whatever, or the top of the sun and the horizon. These units, Stingray, appear to converge, merge, and disappear, making vision highly non-geometric. So your starting assumption, your starting axiom, is highly faulty and extremely questionable. So let's start from scratch and see if we can derive some better principles, shall we?
That's a very interesting question and a very interesting straw man. I like the way you told me what I believe, you told me what I said.
I have to do that, Stingray, before you bloviate any further. I will let you bloviate for 2 minutes after I power through your bullshit really quickly. Since you're being an obfuscationist and an obscuranter, I need to power through your bullshit to get to the point. Please continue.
So after setting up a straw man and arguing against it, I commend you at that. Well done for arguing at something that no one ever fucking said. Wicked, waste of time right there. So I'd like you to tell me who the fuck said vision is geometric. Just one person and timestamp anywhere.
You implied it by the use of the triangles and the tangent to get a sun that's 38,000 miles away to be 1.5 degrees above the horizon. You set up the tangent of 1.5 equals the height to the sun, 1,000, divided by the distance to the sun, x. When you solve for x with a tangent of 1.5 equals 1,000 miles up to the sun divided by x, you get 38,000 miles. But that is only useful if you assume that vision is geometric and maps perfectly to a triangle. We cannot do that. So by implication, obscuranter, obfuscationist, pointless, rumpus, rhetorician, sophist, effectively deceiver, you have implied that vision is geometric and maps perfectly to a triangle when it does not necessarily do that. Go.
Hey, Lemonbird, can I ask Lemonbird a question?
Mm-hmm.
Where on a flat surface is there a tangent, Lemonbird?
Tangent is just simply taking the height of the object divided by the distance of the object and assuming a right triangle ratio. That gives you a tangent. When you take the height to the object divided by the distance of the object, the height of the sun above the horizon, 1,000 miles, like what's his name appeared to imply with his math and the figures that he gave me. That would be the height, 1,000, divided by the distance to the object to get that angle, x. 1,000 divided by x in miles or whatever. That would equal the tangent of 1.5, which is what the angle he said that it was above the horizon, or what the F ever. So, Mr. Hawkins, based off of those assumptions with the right triangle, that is 1,000 miles up, x distance to that subsolar point or whatever. You get 1,000 divided by x equals the tangent of 1.5. And you solve when you put that in the calculator. Simplifying it even further, Mr. Hawkins, you take 1,000 divided by the tangent of 1.5, and that lets you solve for x. There you go.
Why are you putting in a tangent on your flat Earth? See, we're calculating for a flat Earth, right? Why are you using a tangent? See, you're making a false comparison between the two. That's your problem. See, you don't know anything.
It gives you a pretty.
You just
It gives you a pretty good assumption.
Obfuscate and give excuses and rationalization.
Sean Hawkins, shut up for a second. Shut up for a second, Mr. Hawkins. We both assume that light rays travel in more or less straight lines for the side of your triangle, which justifies trigonometry up to a point, but past that point, no further, Mr. Hawkins. We both assume that light travels in a straight line for the straight sides of our triangle, Mr. Hawkins, and we assume angles of vision that more or less are parts of sides of those triangles. So we can both agree on that up to a point, but no further. That's it.
We probably could have been done with the Stingray point back and forth with Lemon, but we had a slight interjection over there by Shen.
Yeah, so Lemon.
Sean Hawkins, you can interrupt anytime you want because I've talked with this dude several times. I'm familiar with his obfuscations. I'm familiar with his rhetoric. I really don't even care to speak with him that much. Okay. Powering through his bullshit, making my point, and bouncing out of the conversation.
It's okay, Stingray, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Lemon, I mean, I'm rooting for you here. I really am. And this isn't obfuscation. This is, I want you to explain it. So, you've got a hypothesis about optics. No one ever said optics was geometric. Absolutely not. But you always miss the one important factor. Give me the magnitude of the divergence that is responsible for the effect which I need to account for over distance. Now, you're probably going to answer with atmosphere. I don't know. Or ether. Or whatever the fuck. But you give me the measurements to accomplish being able to predict with it. If you can do that, you've got a point. If not, you're just a load of hot fucking wind and air.
I still have a point logically. You're saying, show me some mathematic numbers, otherwise I won't believe you. Your argument's weak. Logically, Stingray, if you're being honest and not being a pointless obfuscationist, sophist, rhetorician, rumpus, time waster, you would admit that vision does not have discrete mathematical units for you to count out, since everything converges, merges, and disappears. So past that, I could give a shit about your blathering rhetoric.
I do have a point, though, in saying, is it 1 degree it's going to make a difference over what distance? Or is it 20 degrees it's going to make a difference over what distance? And what elements and variables are involved in producing this effect that you're claiming exists? And after all that bullshit that you fucking spew out, all I have to do is add 1 degree of curvature over 69 miles and it near enough fucking matches. Weird, right? Very weird.
Some sort of factor to account for why we don't see perfect triangles or lengths. The factor that you're identifying is Earth curvature. Maybe it's just the fraction limit or lost angle due to perspective and being over a flat surface that doesn't match perfectly to these idealized trigonometric considerations. It's a rough approximation, but not good enough because you don't have equal room on all sides of the vanishing point of the object. Your idealized math would only hold ideally anyway if you had equal room on all sides of the vanishing point of the object. Since the vanishing point of the object tends to be at the level of the eyes for objects that, like you, are sticking up out of the flat surface, you do not have the conditions for your idealized math to hold anyway.
So, on the example that is on screen, and I know you probably won't, it sounds like you're out, so you're probably not going to be able to view it anyway. But you can watch the stream back if you can't view my screen at the moment anyway, Lemon. So
what am I going to see? Pointless rhetoric? Idealized math formula?
No, you're going to see a visual demonstration, which I can actually do physically as well, but it's just easier.
A physical demonstration on an idealized computerized model that may or may not map perfectly to reality? Okay, thank
Let me get a word out here. I'm receiving feedback, criticism. Alk is a little bit butthurt over there and salty. Shout out to Alk because I muted the rumpus earlier. Why did I mute the rumpus? Not only because he was yelling and he gave me a headache, but because he was, like usual, interrupting people every other word. Not even sentences, every other word. He was just interrupting with yelling, you moron, and bullshit that the rumpus do. What is the difference with Lemonbird? I don't hear Lemonbird shitting and spewing garbage all over when Stingray is speaking. When Stingray is speaking, Stingray is able to convey his comments and his thoughts and his full sentences. That doesn't happen with the rumpus. If the rumpus was human enough to allow people to finish at least one statement or speak for 15 or 20 seconds, he will still be in the call. He is server muted and he will stay server muted for the rest of the day because he does not know how to behave in a normal conversation like we are attempting to do here. Now, it is your problem, okay, that you cannot stand Lemon Bird talking, then get the fuck out and don't listen when Lemon is here. That's a you problem, not a me problem. Thank you very much. Stingray, go ahead.
Yeah, so Lemon, this is the fundamental issue that I've got with your, I'm going to call it hypothesis, and that's been very generous, is I'm going to take a few of your axioms of top and bottom half of vision, and I've separated it with this line that, well, this surface here that indicates the top and bottom half of the vision. Now, just using the laws of perspective, everything converges, merges, and smooches into the vanishing horizon line, which is the middle of your top and bottom vision, convergence, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the issue here. The issue which we clearly see is in no way at all should the deck of this vessel go below the vanishing line. There is absolutely no way in any logic argument that the pilot house, wait a minute, listen, that the pilot house should go below the center half of the vision. Yet both of them do at an odd rate, and the rate of which they do over the distance defines the curvature. You have to somehow explain how, when this goes away, in reality, and we see it all the time, that it actually goes below the center half of the vision, taking the pilot house with it. Even though we were in alignment with the top deck, that's the observer height. That's a very weird problem that you've got to solve. I'm trying to help you. Should be really easy to solve as well, right? With simple.
Yeah, it's easy to solve with the right principles. You only are 6 feet off the ground, so you only have 6 feet even coverage. Anything beyond that's going to act a little weird visually. That's it.
Right, so on this example, I'm 23 feet above in alignment with the deck of the ship. Yet the deck of the ship goes down below the center half of my vision and actually gets obscured by water for some reason at the exact rate with which we would expect on curving water. Now, you have to explain how this is going against all laws of geometry and perspective, and tell me what elements are in play here to make this thing move down below the vanishing line. While still not being vanished, it's below the vanishing line. It's a very simple problem. It doesn't even matter about things being unresolvable. We can still see it. It's just below the vanishing line. Weird, right? I can show you countless videos of this in reality as well, Lemon.
Actually, what you have there is just the deck compresses to the ground. You'll see the ground slant up to that deck part with distance, and it just compresses that bottom to the point where you can't resolve it as separate from the water surface. It's Rayleigh criterion, all the section by section by section by section, slice up the bottom reaches that point before the top does. So and it just becomes unresolvable past that point. You're limited by your bottom half of your vision.
Yeah. So I can see the pilot house there. Yeah. I can see the pilot house there. It is completely resolvable. My question to you is, it was above the center line of my vision, and now it is below. What the fuck happened?
The top is higher than the bottom up to the surface. Is the top higher than over the surface than the bottom? Is the top higher than the middle of the ship over the surface? They're all converging towards that compression point, that center frame, that vanishing point, whatever you want to call it. They're all converging toward that. What do you think is going to become unresolvable first? Which part is touching the surface? The surface is going to be that limit in the distance.
Must be my mistake.
The bottom. Yeah. Last thing that will be gone will be the top.
Must be my
limit
mistake.
of your field of view.
Oh, it must be my mistake. I didn't explain it correctly, because I'm sure you won't be obfuscating. So I can still resolve the pilot house absolutely fine. The vanishing point is in the center of the vision, which is 30 foot above the water. Yet the pilot house goes down below the vanishing line. I can still resolve it. I can still see through the windows and stuff. Why is it below the vanishing line?
You can't see the windows on it. When you get to that point, you can't see shit unless you zoom in. You can only see the little teeny, maybe a blip,
below the vanishing line.
Blip. Yeah, no, it doesn't go below a vanishing line. It goes to it. It's just going into the narrowness of the angle with distance.
I'm zooming in.
Just like the
vanishing line.
Gary, you're putting a rumpus. Don't go with the rumpus today. Rumpus
okay,
is
he's interrupting me too.
Today.
We're both doing it.
No, you gotta talk, and you gotta allow to talk. You cannot interrupt every other word because you disagree with what he's saying, and vice versa.
He interrupts me just as much.
Let's not do it.
Okay, so Gary, you're missing my point. Throughout all of this exercise, I can resolve the pilot house windows. The pilot house windows start, and I'm sharing it. You probably can't view it because you're working. I get that, but watch it back on the stream later. So the pilot house and the windows are above the vanishing line. Yes, I agree with you, because perspective is a very well-known thing, that they will converge towards the vanishing line. However, the vanishing line, the center of this lens, is 30 foot in alignment with the deck of the vessel above the water. The issue that you flat earthers have to explain is when the vessel gets far enough away and we zoom in on it without changing the angle of the lens, we see that the pilot house has actually dipped below the center line of that lens. Now, in no way should that pilot house, due to perspective or anything else, dip below that. I can still see it. I can still make out the pilot house deck, but it's below the center.
If you keep magnifying the image or cropping the dummy, you couldn't see it before you crop your image or you expand it or whatever you did. But before that, when it reached that little point, you couldn't see any detail. Come on now, be real.
Again,
you're such an obfuscator. You fool everybody with your bullshit.
I thought you were done, Gary. When you make your statement, you are now repeating.
Okay, never mind, Jose. You're full of shit, and I'm tired of your shit. Goodbye.
What the
Enjoy your life.
Anyway, just for everybody else, he's missing the point. They have to go to things vanishing due to like the Rayleigh criterion. I can still clearly see the deck. The issue or the logical problem is the deck is above. I have to look up at the deck. I have to look up in the lens at the deck. Yet when it goes away, I then have to look down from the center of the lens to the deck. I can still see it.
No, you're not looking down from the center of your lens.
I can still see it in all circumstances, and we see this in reality. It matches a curve exactly. We need an explanation for Flat Earth of why the boat went down. That's it.
It doesn't go down. It's simply, you assume it's going beyond a curvature, which is why you can't see the bottom. It's simply going further and further into the narrowness of the angle, where all the information compresses. The top will be the last thing seen because it's the highest thing above the surface. Eventually, it will become unresolvable with the surface. The Rayleigh criterion is affecting all points of that ship. That's why you can't see the windows with distance. You can't see the individual windows and doors and deck lines and everything else with distance. Not unless you zoom back in, which is what you keep doing on this. Oh, look, I zoom back in. I can see them. Yeah, but you couldn't see them.
No,
you're missing the point. And the Rayleigh criterion is, you can literally take that and slice it in a bunch of horizontal lines from the bottom to the top, going across the ship, and each one, it's all going to compress, but the bottom ones will compress out of your line of sight quicker when it merges and converges into the vanishing zone. Every time.
No, what
did you use to measure the Rayleigh criterion with? What instrument did you use to measure it?
When you like in that video where I have the red bottom ship and the yellow bottom vines, it just reaches a point where you can't, that space, the size of that space, of that stripe, that red strip, or the yellow stripes at the bottom of the turbines, when in the distance, they become so small that you can no longer resolve them as separate from the surface with more distance.
You're telling me you can't measure this Rayleigh criterion thing you keep talking about. Is that what you're telling me?
Are you going to be able to measure it out there, Blue? You know it's there.
I want to know. You
know there's an effect. Can you give me all the measurements?
I'd like for you to tell me what you're using to measure the Rayleigh criterion with, Gary.
Blue,
when
a car drives away from you. Okay, first of all, you're joining into the conversation I was with him, so you butted in. You're intruding now.
Yeah, well, you do it all the time.
You got a car driving away. You got a car. Can you measure the angles that when it comes to the point where you can't read the numbers anymore? Can you measure those angles?
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary have left the building. I heard him a minute ago. He say goodbye, Jose. I thought he was leaving, but he's still here. Oh, I still hear you. Sorry, I thought you were leaving. Thank you.
I decided to stay. I can change my mind. So anyhow, unless you kick me off, that's your.
No, if you keep interrupting and talking over people, I might. But we're good today. We good.
Can I say something?
Okay. Well, everybody interrupts. Not just me.
I just wish you could see my screen, Gary, because you're missing the issue of.
Wait. Can I finish with Blue there? Because I want to ask him if he can measure the angles from wherever he's standing when he watches the car drive away to when he can't resolve the numbers anymore in the license plate. Does he know how to measure that? Can you measure that? Can you measure that, Blue?
You don't measure it. Gary, you don't answer a question with another question.
Okay, Blue. But there's a point there. You know the factor is there, though, right, Blue? You know that the Rayleigh criterion is taking place when you can no longer resolve the numbers,
okay,
right, Blue?
In that case, I'm done with you.
Okay, Blue, you're interrupting.
I'm gonna wrap up the show because I made a promise. I was supposed to start cooking at 3 p.m. I'm gonna have somebody coming to eat with me, so I gotta go on 20 minutes late. So this is gonna be it for today. It has been a fun, interesting festivities. I want to thank everybody for being here. I really, really appreciate everybody in the panel, everybody on YouTube. Don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment in the comment sections. Let us know your thoughts. And the first comment will be pinned if it's YouTube friendly. Thank you very much to everybody over here on the call, on Discord. Thank you very much, everybody watching this recorded. I appreciate your support. And come back tomorrow. We'll have some fun Super Show Friday festivities tomorrow to make up for the time I left early, even though it's like a 3-hour show today. Normal time. I would have liked to stay, but I got shit to do. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate everybody. Everybody can stay in Discord. The Discord live is open. Everybody jump into the Discord server. Have fun. I'm out of here. Jose JG out. Boom. Good night, everybody.
No last word? Okay.
I was late.